What's up, everybody? This is NFL Network's Adam Ray.
This is Only Fruit.
This is Matt Waldman.
This is Chris Zork from your Chicago Bears.
I'm Deion Miller.
Dan Weeder.
Hey, man, it's Rashad Whitfield.
I'm Courtney Cronin.
Hey, this is David Kaplan. Listen to me. You want to learn football? Listen to my guys, Phil and Shane.
Shane and Phil.
Shane and
Phil.
Oh, Phil.
On the Tape Never Lies Network.
On the Tape Never Lies Network.
Tape Never Lies Network.
The Tape Never Lies Network.
Tape Never Lies Network, home of the greatest Chicago Bears fans on earth.
The following show is for mature audiences only.
Watch the tape, and when you see the tape, you know the tape doesn't lie, and the tape doesn't lie.
I think just look at the positive things. Of course, watch the film and see where we need to grow and keep getting better. But, I think the offense today, played well. And, of course, there's always room to grow, get better. But, as a whole, we put up 29 points. I think that was the most points they let up this year. So, just keep working and keep getting better each and every day at practice.
I kept thinking about that all day. Like, that's what Robert wanted, right? Was to compete for a Super Bowl. And he now has the opportunity to do that with the league's best team. And that's exciting for him. And you wish him the best in that moment. And you could tell that it mattered to Poles where he was putting him. Like he talked about, we are uprooting his family. We get that. We are moving. That's not easy. And we are messing with his words, the fiber of our locker room. We are messing with that, but we feel like it's worth it. And I think there is a level of respect that goes with that, because he didn't send them to a bottom feeder. He sent him to a team that can compete and can give Robert what he wants, knowing that Quinn wasn't going to be around next season. I think he did him right too. I really do. I think it was a powerful statement for him. And then to own it right away, to come out right away and talk to us about it. I think that says a lot about who he is and the kind of way he wants to run this team. No.
Don't even put it out there.
No, Sarah. Don't even put it out there. I know. Yeah. I hope not to. I would get emotional about that too. I like him so much. I think that him and Khalil Herbert are such a great combo.
Perfect combo.
Yes, right. Perfect combo right now. Mm-hmm. And for where they're at. And again,
exactly.
I forget sometimes, you guys, I forget how young these guys are. And then I'll pull out the roster and think that their birth year is a misprint or something, because I remember the 90s. They're so young, right? this whole group is so young that it would be shocking that they would, to me, trade somebody who's got so much upside like a David Montgomery, who they love. They absolutely love him. And I think that they're finding ways to make him shine, and that's what they need. That's what they want. And they've stayed so committed to the run. And it's hard sometimes to do that, especially when you're losing a lot of games. But that's what's worked for them. And they've made a commitment to it. That's something that Poles talked about when he got here, and Eberflus too, that we're going to do that. And they've done it. They stayed true to their word, which just goes back to what we talked about at the beginning, right? Like, guys are trusting them because they talk and walk the same way, right? They're not blowing smoke. They're what they say they do. They're going to do. They do it. And speaks volumes. I'm not sure. I mean, I hate to say it that way. I feel like there's so much to build off of what happened on Monday. I'm nervous because the biggest discrepancy I see is that the Bears offensive line has allowed more sacks than anybody, and the Dallas defense has sacked quarterbacks more than anybody else. So that makes me a little bit nervous, especially because they're shuffling the offensive line again on a short week and trying to make that quick turnaround. But I do think, and now as Eberflus told us, they've also put on tape those designed run plays for Justin. So how Dallas may adjust because of that. I mean, Micah Parsons is a real legit linebacker, you guys. That's not a joke. So they have a lot of weapons that I think can make it challenging. It might be a week-to-week thing. I think we see more flashes of what we saw on Monday at a more consistent rate. It's not just going to be like, oh, wow, remember that one really great game he had? I feel like this is the kind of regime that's going to build off of that. And not just let that be a one-off. So is it going to be week to week? Sort of is the best answer that I can give for that, because I feel like once they like, they're going to take it, as corny as it is, they're just going to go 1 week at a time, right? And so they started working on Dallas during their mini bye.
I like
now
that.
Back. I love that. Now they're back, like to focused on this, getting the game install in and everything that they're going to do. And I do feel like they saw what worked on Monday, and they're ready to kind of take that with them and say, okay, now we're going to put this in our pocket and we can go on from here. I was listening to Mike McCarthy today talking about prepping for the Bears and just saying how impressed he was with Justin on Monday night. He's like, I was impressed. His ability to like see things and make things happen. And he said it was impressive to watch. And I think that if nothing else, I mean, for as embarrassing as that Thursday night was, at least they got the league's attention in a positive way. I mean, at least it wasn't embarrassing. I mean, I literally was dreading it. I was like, we have to sit through another primetime game with this awful team, and they didn't look anything like that. And exactly. I think that now I want to see how Eberflus, because I do feel like a lot of that was coaching. So how does he coach now on a short week?
Without a doubt,
when
the team is a reflection
of him. Totally.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. In our city, like you look around and you think, all right, why do the Cubs play loose and free and easy? Because that's who David Ross is. Why were the White Sox old and slow? I mean, it just, they're a reflection of your manager. It totally agree. Your manager, your coach, whatever it is. I totally agree with that.
I uncovered the magic of the Chicago Bears when I was about 7 years old. I uncovered the magic of TTNL nearly 50 years later when I saw this guy, Draft Dr. Phil, dissecting footage of Bear games to give fans the exact details of what goes right and what goes wrong. There's a lot of other NFL fan shows on YouTube, but there was nobody doing what Phil was doing. Within a year or two, TTNL was born. I've been here ever since. I probably skew a bit older than the typical TTNL fan, but that's because to me, watching the Bears still creates the same youthful exuberance I had when I was 7. That exuberance and passion is what TTNL brings to their analysis, along with the facts, good or bad, lifted from the tape. The tape never lies, true Bear fans never die. TTNL for life.
I discovered TTNL like a lot of people did. I just saw some of Phil's breakdowns of tape, and I thought it was a really cool way for people to investigate football on a deeper level who don't normally have the opportunity to do that because they're not in the game or part of the game anymore. Then I started watching some of the network's actual content, and I began to understand the type of character that these guys had, that it was in fact a lot more than just football. I grew up a Bears fan my entire life, for as long as I could possibly remember. I'd been out in Colorado for over 10 years now, and how much I'd missed having a football community, especially a Chicago Bears community. TTNL is family, and that real recognizes real. And that's when I really knew and discovered that this is a lot more than football. It always was. It really is family, and having that family around you and knowing that you have a support system, even if they're thousands of miles away, is like beyond indescribable. And then to have found that community just through a YouTube channel, it says something really special about the network and the people that run it. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being a part of my life, because my life would not be the same without TTNL and everyone that's a part of it.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Chicago's trading up.
100.
Yes! What? Here it is! Or just reporting.
The tape never lies.
The people drop off, but we still keep rocking.
You'll never know how good your football team's going to be until you play with maximum effort.
Keeping it 100.
An open competition over the North and never give it back.
Smartest man.
My Chicago Bears select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. Dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man in Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keeping it 100, never running east to west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the freaking anchor, moving forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shane's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shane got some haters. But now them out stuck like the two and now and later. Debaters, frauds get kicked like Coach Tabor. Cuts had to be made, we added a barber moderator. Up and down, boys got you double checking. Sad sacks trolling like a fool, drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Shane. What we do when we're breaking down the Bears. Fuck a play or a captain, all of the unchairs. The tape never lies. The truth, you see, we laugh, we analyze, so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a sad nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like trick sack. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man and Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keep it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Justin Fields gets outside the pocket, puts that ball perfectly where only Mooney can get it. 1
Keeping it 100.
2 feet.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Tape never lies.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is Claudio the Barber, and this is TTNL's Keepin' It 100, the best bear show on the planet, bar none. Listen, after a tough loss to the Cowboys, the Bears made some big moves before the trade deadline. In polls, we trust, ladies and gentlemen. So, of course, we got another great show for you tonight. We got friend of the show from SB Nations, Mark Schofield, coming on. So let's get to it. We got a lot to talk about because this dude came straight from Jerry's world. Draft Dr. Phil.
Yo. Claudio almost hit the mark. It's like
Almost.
yelling yo.
I got the guys in the green room helping me. They're pointing. I tried.
I don't know why you have.
I have
like,
a delay.
No pause.
There's a delay on my screen. So
why is it only for you though?
I don't know.
If
I'm not doing it on
Zorich could do
purpose.
it, you should be able to do it.
True.
Zorich hits it every time. I'm like, why
know.
did Zorich be able? He could do it, but Claudio can't do it. It's like in the back of my mind.
Thing now it's like I have to be off the mark. Right? That's like it's my thing.
Hey,
What's up, man?
There you go. Yep, I like it.
That's right. My boy likes it. He loves it. Yeah, Claudio.
Well, let's first of all, Shane, want to just tell Shane?
Yeah, Shane had a family emergency. So I'm asking fans always to put their positive energy. I know Alan was talking about it in the green room before the show. It's like TTNL, man. We're always having to deal with adversity. And I guess that's really life in this world, this crazy world. So
that's what makes
Shane's not going to be
better,
here
though, because it's a good,
community
break and a good thing. From
how about those two guys keeping it 100? I always laugh I just want to say something. A mini rant. I was inspired by both Roger and Trent talking about TTNL and what it means to them. And I had so many fans in Dallas trying to meet up, and I owe them all an apology. I must have had 45, 50 DMs about coming just to take a picture. And the Bears had me on lockdown. I mean, I could not even, I kid you not. I'm trying to get my guy, Donnie, who was with us there, but I guess he's playing poker, so he can't come on tonight. Jim Larison to verify these things, but yeah, they knew who I was, and they had me on lockdown. But back to Roger and Trent, Claudio, just what they said. I want to thank you fans that took the time out and talked about TTNL. Sometimes it's very difficult because just keeping it 100, you know, it takes you away from your family a lot, and you have kids and a wife, and, you know, you're doing these things really inspired by false narratives. That's really what inspired me to take to the tape to show people that, hey, what you're reading, put a writer in there, isn't true. Put PFF in there. It's not true. And I just can't sit still with that kind of shit. So I had to show tape, and that's how it was born and originated, by just me saying, now fuck that. This is the reality of why the Bears are being coached poorly. This is what they're doing wrong. And I know I could fix this, and I know other people could fix this if they get the right people in here, because you're not holding people accountable. And so I went and did the Draft Dr. Phil's The Tape Never Lies. And now there's all these fucking imitators. And now there's all these other people that take their little subtle troll boy shots or try to copy like they originated this thing. But for me, I don't take it as a compliment. I don't. When you're a cheap knockoff and you're stealing other people's work, I don't take it as a compliment. I take it as a shot at me, at the network, and the people, because there's no appreciation. There's no credit given. Everybody thinks they could do what we do, but can't. And I think that they get caught up in it. And mini rant, Claudio. I had to get this off my chest because
it has to be said, man.
It comes on the back of, I have this amazing experience, like a once in a lifetime experience, thanks to Jim Larison. You know, that is my guy. I love this guy. He is the most down to earth, generous, thoughtful brother, friend that I don't even know. He just loves the network, loves what I stand for. And I got to experience his business, his job, his business, his office.
A lot of Coke Zero. There's a lot of Coke Zero in that fridge. Did you drink all of it?
It's like I walk in there and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm putting together beautiful, like a little video. Yeah. I'm dead ass tired from traveling, working, I'm cutting tape for The Tape Never Lie. But Jim Larison's office alone just shows what kind of boss he is and the kind of man you're going to work for. You know, you go in there, there's ping pong tables, there's obviously meeting rooms, computers and everything. But on the other side, there's a bar, there's a TV that drops down, there's TVs everywhere, there's a movie screen that'll drop. And it's just, I'm like, wow, this guy, like, he doesn't even think anything of it. It's like, okay, all right, let's go to lunch with David Kaplan. You know, we'll go to my office, then we'll go meet Kaplan for lunch. Like it's nothing. But I got to meet a great time with David Kaplan talking football and the Bears and sports. And I'll take you through the whole thing, obviously, throughout these weeks. There'll be plenty to talk about, but I want to focus. Obviously, had great breakfast and conversation with Olin.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that on another show.
You don't want to talk about it now?
Well, there's so much to tell you. And I know, like my wife, I've told so many stories. I don't even know.
How about when did you have a fanboy moment? Like, what was the first time? Was it on the plane? Was it like, when was a fanboy?
Well, I gotta keep it 100, guys. So I wish the other people. So there's Jim bid on this trip through the Bears Care Gala. And let's bring Ivan in here because he'll want to ask me questions too. And I'm going to open this up to Cherie and Bratcher. If you want to pop in on yourself and ask a question, that'll be fine too. But what's up, Ivan?
What's going on, guys?
What up, bro? Long time no see.
So, and the fans, keep an eye on thank you. Keep an eye on the chat if they have a question. But I want to get this off my chest because I've been saying, keeping it 100. The Chicago Bears are, like, as Claudia will know, we live in Connecticut. So to wear Bears gear, over half my wardrobe is Bears gear. I've been loyal to this team to no end, defended everything and all of that forever. So to get behind the curtain, it's like some people say you don't want to meet your hero, right? You don't want to meet your hero. So Chicago Bear Jim wins this and wants to work hard. He obviously wants to bring me on this, and he's negotiating with the Bears to get Shane to experience it too, which they then turn down, even with extra money donated. So Shane can't go. So I feel bad confessing now, but Shane can't even go anyway. And you know how Shane is. So it's like, I'm going to experience. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity because when Jim reads down what he did, because he disguises it as my I got a birthday present for you. I go, really? What? It's a package. I forget how he surprised me with it. It was funny how he did it. And then it turns out that it's a trip with the Chicago Bears. Like, and then he reads down, you're going to go to Hallis Hall. You're going to, meet and greet with the team. Then you're going to you're going to eat breakfast. You're going to go to a coach's meeting, special teams meeting or whatever. You're going to get on a plane with the team. You're going to fly. You're going to get a police escort to the airports. You're going to go on the field. You're going to have dinner with the team. You're going to have breakfast with the team. And then you're going to go on the field pregame again. And you're going to sit. And Jim, I'll tell you about what Jim did later. So I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, holy shit, you're kidding me. So I'm telling my wife, she's like, what? I go, I kid. So everybody in my family knew. And I'm like, this is amazing. Claudio knew. You can't believe it. All right. So I go to Chicago. Obviously, you guys were following me. And I'm trying to answer your question, but to set the stage. So the first fanboy moment is you pull up to Hallis Hall. I've been to Hallis Hall way back in 1998 or so, 98 or 2000 something. I'd been to the old Hallis Hall. So this was much different. And I'm excited because I know what's going on. Now, we go out for breakfast with Olin at 7:45 in the morning at Espresso. And I forget the name of this town that it was in, but we go there. And then after that, we have to stall for time because the Bears want us there at 11 sharp. We get there at 10:50, right? So We get there at 10:50 and nobody's there. Me and Jim are like, what are we doing? So we get into the freaking waiting area. We're just waiting. Then finally this woman comes down. Oh my God, I didn't know you were here, blah, blah. Come on up. We're going to bring you. I'm like, okay. All right, now this is going to get serious. Now you're walking through Hallis Hall behind the scenes. We going past the Brian Piccolo room. I'm taking pictures of George Hallis's hat and all of that. Then they sit us, and there's this other couple there who also donated to be on this trip. So there's 4 of us. So they're there, and they're straight from Missouri. And they have the, how y'all doing? Accent straight. And you know me with accents. So I'm like loving the accents. And Jim is cracking up because he knows how much I'm laughing at. Now, Don and his wife, Rebecca, are just awesome, right? But at first, I don't know anything about it. All I know is that Rebecca's bag was too big for the Bears. So they have to go send someone to buy her another bag because your bag had to be a specific size. So all this drama is going on. Meanwhile, they move us into the Red Grange meeting room, which is where you saw George McCaskey when they had the presser. So we're in that room where George was. If you remember the shitty presser when they went from George to Ted, remember? That's where we are. Now we're in this room. She gives us the remote, and we can't even turn on the TV. She's like, yeah, I don't know how to play. So Jim's messing. I'm messing with it. Finally, I get the batteries to work. I don't know. You open them, twist them. Got the battery, and I kid you guys not. This is setting the stage of what's to come. There's one channel working. It's fucking soccer. I'm like, I'm in fucking Hallis Hall, and all I can watch is soccer.
Oh my God, they got my DM. I DM'd them. Told them to fucking do that.
I go, Papa Bear's, bro. I tell this to the woman. You know me. Jim's like, I go, you're telling me all you guys suck. I don't know how to work the NFL game day. Meanwhile, I have to pull up Notre Dame Syracuse on my phone. Now we're supposed to have a VIP meet and greet, right? At 11 o'clock. It's 11:30. I'm like, where's the VIP? And Don is getting fired up. Like, I can't believe where's the VIP? Where's the VIP? No one's coming over here. She's like, listen, this is post-COVID. I don't know. So I'm calm. I'm just pissed off that I can't watch Syracuse Notre Dame in Hallis Hall. Now I know our guest is here, so I want to pause there and reconvene the story because wait, before we get to the guest, I want to set the stage of where we're going to start later. So we're in this, and you guys know me. We're in the Red Grange meeting room, Schofield, and the whole fucking team is on the practice field out there, and they draw the curtains down. Like, we can't watch practice from this room. I go, what? She's like, no, they don't want you to watch practice from the room. I go, what? They're walking through in shorts and jerseys. We can't, and helmet. Can't. No, she was very, very nervous. So I go, Don actually says it for me because I'm just shake my head. And Don goes, I'm gotta try to do his accent. I'm a goddamn Chicago Bears fan. You think I'm gonna give Dallas Cowboys some trade secrets here? I can't even watch them warm up. And I go, oh my God, they just don't get it. They just don't get it. So we'll pause there on the behind the curtain trip with the Bears that I took, traveling with the team. It gets even better, I promise you. That being said, let's talk some football with our guy. SB Nation now. He moves around like Justin Fields in the pocket, but he is my QB guru. I think he might have tasted New Haven pizza because he went to Wesleyan. He had to have taken a trip down there. Let's bring him out. Mark Schofield like this.
This insurance attorney is also a 4-year letter winner and former QB at Wesleyan University. You got anything left, Mark? Asking for a friend. Bears fans, TTNL fans, let's keep this offseason rolling and bring in the QB guru and total groupie, Mark Schofield.
There
Cracks
he
me
is.
up every time. Cracks me up every time, my friends. How we doing tonight?
All right.
Good, Mark. Good.
We're doing good, Mark. I traveled with the Chicago Bears. I was on the plane with the McCaskies and the team and the whole nine. So I was telling that story in parts tonight on this show. But your part is going to be played breaking down the Chicago Bears with us tonight. And the new coach, the trades that went down, all of that stuff, and your thoughts on it. I know your buddy Matt Waldman left me a voicemail of what he thought about Claypool. I think we start there with you, obviously fresh off the hot stove of trade deadline. Your thoughts for the Bears getting Chase Claypool?
Well, generally speaking, I like the move. I like that it shows some forward thinking from the organization. I like that it shows that they're starting to build around Justin Fields a little bit, which I think is the biggest component to this. I like that it's a recognition of the fact that they needed help at the wide receiver position. I mean, Moody is a nice piece, but
right,
N'Keal Harry caught a touchdown against Dallas. Yeah, that's nice. They needed a wide receiver one type. And Claypool gets them closer to that, whether he ends up being a wide receiver one in Chicago or they add more help this offseason or the draft remains to be seen. But the wide receiver class in free agency is thin. The wide receiver draft class, it's obviously going to change and move over the next couple of weeks and months, but it hasn't quite shaken out the way we've seen some of the other draft classes at the wide receiver position where it's extremely deep. And so I think it was smart to go ahead and make this move now to say, okay, well, we can't really count on free agency. We've got a ton of cap space, 120 million or something like that. But looking at the next free agency wide receiver class, it's not a great group. We don't know what the draft class is going to look like. It's shaken out a little bit differently than we sort of expected. So to get Claypool now, a bigger framed receiver who has shown at times, not always, but at times, an ability to win at the catch point, to win on those sort of 50-50 balls, somebody that seems to have a very big catch radius, which I think is going to be huge for Justin Fields. Yes. I think that those parts to this move, I think were great. When you also fold in, getting what you got for Robert Quinn, getting what you got for Roquan Smith, when it seems by all indications you weren't going to be able to re-sign him, so to be able to get the second round pick there. I think the Bears over the past couple of days have made some really good moves, but Claypool in particular shows me that they are going to start building around Justin Fields a little bit more.
Yeah, how important, you mention it here, but I think when you look back at him at Ohio State, you're one of my QB go-to guys. He had obvious talent at Ohio State. When you have a guy that's 6'4" and is thick, but has that not only burst, but that ability to leap and high point. N'Keal Harry doesn't quite have that ability. So to get this kind of option opposite Mooney, I mean, how big is this for Justin Fields, even looking back to Ohio State days?
I mean, it's potentially huge because what it does for a quarterback is it widens the error band, so to speak.
Right.
When you're throwing to guys like Mooney and guys that don't have a big catch radius and guys that aren't explosive, guys that can't high point, like you said, Phil, every throw has to be perfect.
Right.
And whenever you as a football team, whenever you as an offense put your players in a position where everything has to be perfect from snap to finish, otherwise you won't be successful, that's not a good place to be for an offense. It's not a good place to be for a football team. When you as a quarterback, and I'm speaking now as somebody that couldn't always put the ball where it needed to be. When you've got somebody on the other end that you don't have to worry so much like, I just got to get it to him. I got to give him a chance to make a play. I don't have to put this on the left hip. I don't have to put it on the right shoulder. I can put it on his frame or even outside his frame, and he's going to get it. That's huge for a quarterback's confidence. And let's not forget, the biggest thing for a quarterback is confidence. Like talent around them, scheme, all that stuff, arm talent, whatever. Confidence is huge. And if you're so worried that, and this is what we saw earlier in the year, when I wrote about Fields a couple of weeks ago, I said that he wasn't trusting the guys around him. He wasn't trusting the offensive line. Ultimately, he wasn't trusting himself. And part of that was, you look at the game against Houston, the interceptions he had in that game, he was trying so hard to make perfect throws because he felt like he had to, that he wasn't even putting the ball in the frame. And he was missing guys as a result. Now, if you've got a receiver like you have in Claypool now, who you think, I just got to get it on him or near him, and we're going to be okay. That's huge for that confidence component. That's huge for that trust in himself and those guys around him component. I think it's ultimately going to be huge for Justin Fields.
Mark, looking at the past couple of weeks with Luke Getsy's offense, they've been getting Justin on the move. It's been a lot of design rollouts, a lot of play action. They've been go with Justin Fields. How do you feel Justin has responded? Because, I mean, he's had, like you see it on tape, he's not big on the yardage, but he's completing the ball at a high percentage. He's accurate. He seems more confident. What have they done besides the rollouts and stuff like that to get him to where he's confident?
Well, they've also done some stuff in this sort of not always max protection, but they've done some different things in protection schemes. Like the touchdown to Harry, for example, it's kind of, it's got a six-man protection component to it. He had a throw to Mooney on a 3rd and 7 in the third quarter where the tight end in the back are chipping before releasing. So it gives him that confidence in what's happening in front of him too, right? Where, a lot of what was happening earlier and, Phil sort of mentioned it sort of as we were coming in, like moving with his feet, right? Like moving around in the pocket. Part of that was a lack of confidence in what was happening in front of him, pulling the ball down a little bit because you feel like you're going to get pressured, because you're anticipating pressure, not even feeling it. You think it's going to come. Now when you're keeping the backs in or having them chip and release, having a tight end and chip and release, and then letting them leak out, that gives Fields some confidence that I don't have to worry about protection. I don't have to pull the ball down. I've still got that club in the bag if I need it. One of the things that maybe love Fields coming out of Ohio State was those secondary reaction skills where if you do get a free runner, if you do get an unblocked blitzer, he can make that guy miss and fix mistakes up front. But when you're doing some things from a protection standpoint to make him more comfortable in the pocket, you're seeing him hang in there. The throw to Mooney that I talked about, that 3rd and 7 on that comeback where Mooney did such a great job at getting into Trayvon Diggs' blind spot and then breaking out, selling Diggs on the vertical route. There was a little bit of flash of color in Fields' field of vision, and he just calmly sort of reset his feet, stepped around it a little bit and made a throw. 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, he's running on that play. I can almost guarantee you he was running on that play. And this is what I saw last year from Jalen Hurts, right around the same time of the year. His game against Denver, I believe it was week 12. He had a dig route to Dallas Goedert, come from the right side, where he had that same flash of color, pulls the ball down, and I'm thinking, here we go. He's going to run again, right? He's going to tuck it and go. And then he resets, throws the dig route, moves the chains. That was when I thought, hey, Hurts is starting to get it. It's not there yet, but he's starting to feel comfortable in the pocket. That's what I'm seeing right now from Fields. There's more comfort in the pocket, more just resetting his feet, not always pulling it down right away. He's, again, still has that athleticism, but when you see the quarterback start to just reset the feet and create space in the pocket, that's a sign they're getting comfortable back there. That's what we're seeing from Fields in recent weeks.
How comfortable are you looking at what Getsy is doing with this offense, in all honesty?
More comfortable the past 2 weeks than I was the weeks prior.
Okay.
Now, obviously, look, the accent gives it away. For those that haven't heard me before, I'm a Patriots fan. I watched that Monday night game, and you saw, like Ivan was just talking about, sort of the way they moved him around a bit, the way they catered to his athleticism a bit, the way they got him involved on some designed runs. I thought that was huge for Justin Fields. I thought that was huge for this offense. I thought it was a recognition from this coaching staff, from Getsy, that, you know what? We needed to take that mini bye, play on Thursday night, reevaluate how we're playing, reevaluate what we're doing with this guy. You know, we've seen, and Bears fans, you've seen for years, and Phil, we've talked about this,
Yeah,
a
we
coaching
have.
staff that was like, look, the best way we're going to fix this young quarterback is just mirrored slant flat over and over and over again, mirrored curl flat over and over and over again. We have talked about this for years.
Right.
This was a recognition from a coaching staff that, you know what we're doing isn't quite working. It's not clicking. We're going to tweak it a little bit. We're going to cater what we're doing to our quarterback and what he does well and where he excels right now and where he's comfortable right now. That makes me more comfortable. You know, in weeks prior when it was not quite there and, you know, it seemed like Getsy was just kind of saying, look, this is what we're going to do and Justin's going to figure it out. I'm not a fan of that, particularly when you have a young quarterback like struggling. If you have a young quarterback that doesn't feel comfortable, if you have a young quarterback that is showing you on film over and over and over again that he's not quite trusting everything that's happening around him, and as a result, he's not trusting himself. We've seen trust in himself and trust in what's around him from Justin Fields the past 2 weeks. So I'm more optimistic right now than I was, say, at the start of October.
Going into this second half of the season, I think we have 9 games left. What do you think the trajectory is for Justin Fields? What do you think he does the rest of the year with a guy like a Claypool? Is this going to continue? You got a murderer's row there at the end. Does this stick? Like, can Justin continue to build on this? Or are you seeing maybe he still has some flaws in his game?
Well, I mean, look, what I always tell people when I get asked a question like this, whenever they ask me, hey, we've got a young quarterback, whether it's Daniel Jones, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, you know, what do you want to see from them when the year is over? And I always tell them, I want them to be a better quarterback overall in week 17 than they were in week 1. And the reason why I say it that way is because people always say, what do you want to see touchdown-wise, completion percentage? And I always say, kind of put the numbers to the side.
Yep.
Development is not linear. You know, development, whether it's in life, you know, as a person or as a quarterback, it's not linear. It has peaks and valleys, ups and downs. And the season was kind of a series of downs for Justin Fields. But now we're on an upward swing. And so I think right now, Justin Fields is a better quarterback than he was in week 1, which is the start of that trend. Now it's been a little up and down, but we're getting up there, right? And I want him to be a better quarterback at week 18 than he was right now, and then what he was at the start of the season. Now, what does that look like? Continued comfort in the pocket, continued willingness to fight in the pocket and only fly from the pocket when he absolutely has to. Now, again, it's great that he has that athleticism. And in today's NFL, you need it, particularly when we talk about the run game and the quarterback run game, because in this too high, too deep safety world we're all living through, where, you know, whether it's Friday nights, Sunday afternoons, Saturday afternoons, every defensive coordinator in the country, Phil, you know this, we're going to play too high. We're going to play cover 2. We're going to play quarters. We're going to keep both safeties deep, because I don't care if it's a Friday night in Montgomery County, Maryland, or Sunday, you know, in the NFL. We want to turn that quarterback into a spectator. You know, we want them to hand it off, because it doesn't matter high school, college, NFL, passing game is king right now. So what do you do as an offense? You can lean into that. You flip the numbers. You run the ball a little bit. You get a light box. You run the quarterback a little bit. You really sort of change things in that perspective. And so you do need that athleticism. But with respect, particularly to Fields and his development, needs to be a better quarterback in week 18 than he is now, and certainly than he was back in week 1. So that pocket management, timing, rhythm, anticipation of the passing game. You're starting to see some of that, the Mooney throw, the Harry read and throw, making the decisions that he needs to. And he's been pretty good at that, but then just continuing to improve in that realm, getting the ball out faster, getting the ball out quicker, the yardage after the catch stuff. Phil, how much did we talk about Mitch Trubisky and how this was an offense predicated on yak, and he's late with every single throw. And if 10-yard throws are 12-yard gains, that's not good. If 10-yard throws are 20-yard gains, that's where you need to be. You're starting to see some of that. So if those yak numbers can continue to go up, that gets you to anticipation. That gets you to ball placement. Because if you're putting the football where it needs to be, and the quarterback can catch, turn, and make a move, that's what you got to do. If he has to adjust and he can't get yardage after the catch, that's a problem. So you want to see those yak numbers go up as well. But ultimately, and I know they've got the tough schedule, like you talked about, if he's still a better quarterback in week 18 than he is right now, that's growth. That's what you want to see. That's what I'm looking for. And I think he's going to get there. It just, you might have a couple of weeks where it's 2 interceptions, you know, missed opportunities. It's bumping. It's not linear. But if he's a better quarterback at the end of the season than when he was when he is right now, and when the season started, that's a big win.
just by watching the tape and some of the things that you're talking about, you're 100% right. And I think fans need to understand that. I'm looking at a quarterback in week 2 going like this, and just afraid to throw the anticipation route, just afraid to believe in it. And here he is. And it's so funny because I was there and I hate sitting on the 50-yard line. I sound so obnoxious when I say that. It does. But for my viewing perspective, because I can't see the pass protection and everything is like I like it, as you know, as you like to see it from the all 22 or behind. But I couldn't see it until now watching the tape. So that Mooney throw, he's got the defender underneath and believed in it. Just like you said, it was so freaking crazy that you brought that play up, because I highlighted this is where growth is shown on tape. He believed in it and delivered it accurately. I want to ask you, though, the balancing act for you as an analyst, the Bears offensive line, while you're assessing a quarterback, how difficult is that to be able to protect him, but also to expect him not to be the runner?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've seen from, over the years, particularly some other athletic quarterbacks, it sometimes takes a little bit longer for that offensive line from a protection standpoint to gel over the course of a season, because there's that athletic component to the quarterback that sometimes you don't know if he's going to be where he's supposed to be, right? We've seen this from Russell Wilson. We see it all the time from Patrick Mahomes. And you can go on social media, on Twitter, you get offensive line Twitter with, Jeff Schwartz and Duke Manyweather and Brandon Thorne. And, people are raving about Mahomes and what he's doing. And they're yelling and screaming and pulling their hair out, because if you're a left tackle and you expect him to be 7 to 8 yards deep in the pocket and he's drifted to 15, and you give up a sack because your defensive end is peeled off and has a free run at Patrick Mahomes, everybody's yelling at the lack of protection. And you're just sitting there like, I did my job. And so getting that feel right, and it's part of the trust element that I've talked about, because it works obviously both ways, right? The offensive lineman have to sort of trust that Fields is going to be there. He's going to be where he's supposed to be in the pocket. And if he's not trusting in what's happening in front of him and he starts to bail, it's kind of a snowballing problem, right? If the offensive line is thinking he's going to be 8 yards deep and he's feeling it, I'm going to get pressured, so I have to bail early, you get sacks as a result, and pressure is generated by the quarterback as a result. Again, that's a problem. And so it does, as we've seen, take longer for it to gel. Now, athleticism as a quarterback is always a double-edged sword in my mind, because every time Justin Fields has stepped onto a football field before last year, he was probably, if not the most athletic guy on the field, right? Like even against teams like Clemson, like there might be a few guys that could beat him to the edge, but not many. And so he always had that in the back of his mind. Like, I can pull it down and go. Unlearning that muscle memory is tough. And I know I've told this story before. Division III football does not count. I get that. But one of the first games I started in college, I felt like I could get to the edge. I got back to the line of scrimmage. I thought I had a first down because everything just happened so much faster. Now that's high school to D3. Imagine, Ohio State to the NFL. Like, the athletes are better now. And so you have to learn as a quarterback to sort of balance that out, right? Yes, it's nice when you can go, and it's great to have that, but he's still going to be able to make a stick and climb and throw from the pocket. And that's the sort of balance and act that this offensive line is going through, that this offense is going through, that Fields is going through as a quarterback, learning when he can go and when he needs to pick his spots better. So they're getting there. Early in the season, you saw protection-wise and this dance between offensive line and quarterback, it wasn't there. It's been better the past couple of weeks.
It totally has, and it's important. I'm sorry, Ivan. I want to double onto this again. I'm a big offensive line guy, and if you look at Justin Fields, the athlete, the runner, I compare him to a bigger, stronger, faster Russell Wilson. And it's like, if you have the offensive line to help a little bit. Early on, they weren't. And the center still has his issues and the rotation. I get it. But I just feel like Justin, are you afraid for Justin Fields, the runner?
Somewhat, just because he's your franchise. And, if one goes down, it's not a good thing. But it's also, and I had this thought in my mind, and I know people on Twitter were talking about it during that Patriots game on Monday night. I made a comment tweeting about it. You sometimes forget just how big he is. Like Fields is a big, strong human being. Like Wilson's a little stocky, but the frame isn't quite what Fields is, and he's a fast human being. He's an elusive athlete with the football in his hands.
6'3", 228.
Yeah, I mean, in a previous version of this game, we'd be talking about Justin Fields as like a left tackle. Now he's playing quarterback. I mean, that's the evolution of this game. I mean, guys were probably that size playing defensive line. So he's a big athlete. He's an incredible athlete with the ball in his hands. He's a game-changing type athlete with the ball in his hands.
He
so
is.
You still want to have that, and we've seen what it means to this offense and to this team over the past couple of weeks. The threat of Russell Wilson. There you go, little Freudian slip there, of Justin Fields with the football in his hands. But you also want to protect him, and because he's big and because he's had that ability to sometimes, I see a corner in the open field, I'm just going to run this guy over. Like you do need to at times protect him. You do need at times he needs to get down, get out of bounds, and things like that. So you do sort of worry about him because you want this guy to keep developing. And if he's going to be that better quarterback in week 18 that we hope and believe he's going to be than he is right now, certainly in week 1, he needs to be there in week 18. He can't miss weeks 15 and 16 due to an injury or something like that. So you worry about that. But in this NFL, the quarterback run game, if you have that card, you're going to keep playing it, and you should because of the schematic things we've been talking about. So you worry about it. It's kind of one of those like heart in your throat kind of moments when you see him break the pocket and take off because you're like, all right, this is great, but let's make sure he's walking back to the huddle when this play is over.
He's making magician type moves.
Yeah. I mean,
in screen, they're calling
that.
screens. He's running and he loses the edge and takes off down the side. The phantom
moment
call
for me where, that call was ridiculous. But the moment for me where I was like, this guy's either QB1 or QB2 in this draft was the Rutgers game, where on multiple times he had free rushers off the edges. And not only did he spin away from those guys, but he had the ability and the presence of mind. And this is something that you just can't teach. You either have it or you don't. In both moments, he took like a half step forward, like he was going to climb the pocket because he saw that edge pressure. And both times, those pass rushers free run at him, flattened their path for like 1 or 2 steps, and then he spun away from them. That's that kind of feel as an athlete that you either have or don't. And Fields has that. And so, again, he's a game-breaking type of guy with the football in his hands. Now we just need to make sure he's always a game-breaking type of guy with the football coming out of his hands.
I want to go ahead and talk. Have you talk a little bit about his leadership qualities. Listen, I don't know how many press conferences of Justin Fields you've heard this year, but
more than you might expect a Patriots fan to watch. Let's put it that way.
Awesome. So you'll know what I'm talking about. He always comes back to, I want to be better. I want to be better for the team. I want to be better for my teammates. With the ups and downs in his football career, not just the NFL, he's hit some walls and then he's overcome. Are you worried at all that he might be a little too hard on himself at times? I know he was very, very angry after that Washington loss. It was something that you could clearly see, visibly see. He's usually the calm, cool, even guy. But when it comes to these hard losses, are you worried at all that he might be taking it, too hard on himself?
I don't think so, in the sense that I want him to hate to lose. I want him to hate that feeling of this offense isn't where we need to be. I'm not where I need to be. When a quarterback starts to get complacent, it's over. When look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady had multiple Super Bowl rings and still felt like he had to go out there every day and prove to Bill Belichick that he was the best quarterback for that team. Now, Tom Brady's a little bit crazy. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, the man's a little different. He's wired differently. But you need that attitude as a quarterback. You need that attitude in the back of your mind that it's the ultimate egotistical position, I think, in all of sports, because you have to have the belief that nobody else on this team, except for the center, should touch the ball on every play. Only me. Only me. I'm the only one that should have that power and responsibility. So you have to have in the back of your mind that drive that I have to keep improving. If it were the alternative and they had that game against Washington and he's like, we'll go get him next time, that kind of wouldn't sit right with me. I want to see him upset by that. I want to see him because that makes me believe that, on the flight, away from Chicago for a long weekend or something after that mini bye, he's watching team. He's still working out. He's doing whatever he feels like he has to do to get to where he needs to be as a quarterback and get this offense where it needs to be. I'm glad to see that. And leadership matters so much at the quarterback position. All the evaluation I do of other positions, offensive tackle, it's kind of a snap to whistle position, right? Quarterback is a Monday morning meeting room to whistle position. Like everything you do during the week matters for this team. Watching film, breaking down tape, sitting down with your coaches and saying, hey, and studying this defense, when they show this underlook, like we've got to get out of these 5 different plays. Like all the stuff that you do during the week matters. And it matters because, if your backup left tackle walks into the facility at 8 a.m. and he can see that you've been there for 2 hours, like it matters. You will get that buy-in. And leadership can certainly take different forms. It has, that component to it when you're a defense on the sideline and you've just got done talking to your coaches and you're watching the field and suddenly Justin Fields in 3rd and 7 has put his body on the line to pick up a first down. You want to get him the ball back. You want to go out there the next time you're out there and make a play for him. And so Fields checks all those leadership boxes. He checks them in a huge way. So when I see him frustrated after losses or frustrated after games where he feels like he didn't play his best, that's one of the things I love about him.
I asked you the last question before Ivan's because I'm at the game. I get on the plane and I don't know, I'll tell the stories later, but I had to go over to him. He's sitting there in this giant airplane chair, Mark, that has like a bed. You could just lay down in a bed and he's sitting there. And I just happened to be, and I'm like, I had to tell him how great I thought he played. And he was just he was just so thankful that in them, he's like, thank you so much. Like, and I know the McCaskey or whoever was behind me, but I didn't give 2 shits because what I saw, Mark, if you put handcuffs on this kid and say, don't run, we got to be a passer, just like you said, there's no offense. This kid has that game in Dallas. I can't. And then watching the tape today, just cutting it, I'm just like, this kid is a miracle worker in what he's doing offensively. He has 3 free runs at him on screens. He jukes the shit out of one. And I know the 2-point conversion, he didn't see the guy. I don't know how he didn't. He just gets blasted. But to your point, Mark, as a coach, as a former quarterback, you're holding your breath. Is he going to get hurt? But at the same time, he's just as dynamic, maybe more than Michael Vick, because he's 238 pounds and 6'4", and he's just building this confidence in throwing the ball as well. I mean, the throw to Cole Kmet, straight drop, throw the ball down. There it is, right? How do you play that balancing act? I know I'm kind of repeating it, but you don't want to take away this game, Brad. I mean, the holding call on Kmet play, let's go back to that. I'm telling you, Mark, in the stadium, he puts on a fucking 3rd gear. Like, I just couldn't believe it. I'm just like, he's running fast. And then it's just like, the guy's a Cowboy fan sitting next to me, and he's like, holy shit. And I'm like, holy shit. He just took off. I mean, so how do you play that balancing? Don't take this running ability away.
Yeah, I mean, here's my first Top Gun reference of the night, Top Gun Maverick, right?
Here we
And
go.
there was that scene with Iceman where he was texting him and he was just like, you got to let go. Like, you've got to sort of learn to let go, whether you're a parent, whether you're a boss, whether you're a fan, whether you're a coach, because you just got to sort of trust that he's going to take care of himself. And you can't rein him in.
Exactly.
And with young quarterbacks, some of these young quarterbacks, like I remember saying the same things about Patrick Mahomes before he came out when Matt Waldman and I were doing shows, and we were like, oh, people are going to try to rein him in. I'm like, no, like, learn to live with the mistakes. You might have to learn with a play where Fields, takes a big hit, but you don't want to sort of just turn him into a statue in the pocket. Like, you're just going to have to learn to live with that little fear and that lump in your throat whenever he breaks the pocket and say, okay, let's hope he gets back to the huddle and everything's going to be okay. Because if you change him into a statue, you're hurting yourself. You're fighting defenses with one arm tied behind your back. And, another play that I want to mention, the third down to Pettis, it was I think the fourth quarter. Then they converted the fourth down on the 4th and 4 play, the next play. It was one of those plays like you just talked about. He had 3 rushers in his face, 3 rushers. And he slides to his right a couple of steps, creates that space, and makes a incredible throw with I don't know how he got the velocity on it that he did. And then you convert the 4th down. Weeks ago, he would have run that. Weeks ago, he would have tucked and ran. But no, he made that throw. And as for his third gear, I still feel a bit robbed. We didn't get a 40 from him at the combine, because that would have been a break Twitter moment. Like, he would have laid down at least a 4.42, I think, if not better. And that would have just blown Twitter up. I wish we had gotten it, but yeah, you can't tell him to rein it in. You can't tell him to be conservative. Let him be Justin Fields.
Speaking to that a little bit, there are times where Justin kind of runs into a sack, or he pretty much sacks himself. There are times where he gets to the outside and I'm throw it away. But he's so, like you said, he's so talented that even, I believe that he could make a play, and I'm sure he believes that he can make a play. Yeah. As a young quarterback, for a coach's perspective, how do you teach a young quarterback, say, hey, look, I know you can make the play. Like, I know in certain situations you could do magician type stuff, but in this situation, I need you to throw it away because it saves us from a longer down and distance. You know what I'm saying? How do you get a young quarterback to understand that, especially with the talent that Justin has?
Yeah, that's one of those lessons that unfortunately you got to get burned. And I thought one of the more fascinating things of Football Insight that I've seen recently came actually today. Josh Allen was on with Kyle Brandt like he is each week, and he was asked about Zach Wilson, and Allen was like, I see a lot of me in Zach Wilson right now. And he mentioned how he had a similar 3-interception game against the Patriots in his second season like Zach Wilson did this past week. And he said, he reminded me a lot of myself. And I actually got a piece coming out tomorrow about that because I went back and watched. And you see Josh Allen feeling pressure, make a back foot throw, and it gets intercepted. You see Josh Allen flush himself to the right, force a throw late in the down, and it gets intercepted. And then I compared it to exactly what you saw from Zach Wilson this past week, because he makes a back foot throw against pressure, gets intercepted, flushes himself out to the right twice. Once he's trying to throw it away, once he's trying to make a play, both get intercepted. And why was that important? Because what Allen said next, he said, that's when it clicked for me. That's when it clicked for me, that there are times I was simply trying to do too much. And I remember when he was at Wyoming, I remember writing the words, every Josh Allen plan B is I'm going to run to my right and try to make something happen with my arm. And it took him till his second season for that light to come on and say, I'm talented. Yeah, I can do special things at times. But there are times where I just got to just get rid of it. I just got to not try to do too much. That's what Fields is balancing. And as a coach, you can tell him, hey, throw it away in this situation. As a coach, you can tell him, hey, just take a sack, just slide, just run out about whatever. Just, don't do something crazy in the situation. There's nothing more powerful than learning that lesson yourself. There's nothing more powerful than floating out to the right, thinking you can make a throw and realizing, oh, I thought I could make this, off my back foot, fade away throw 25 yards downfield. I'm super talented and only got 15 yards downfield. And he got intercepted because I threw it right between the 5 and the 6 on the linebacker's chest. He's got to get burned with these. I mean, that's what I'll be watching with Zach Wilson too. See if that light goes on for him like it did for Josh Allen.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking with SB Nation, friend of the network, at Mark Schofield on Twitter. Mark Schofield, I call him the QB guru. Always breaking down the quarterback position. He played the position in college. I don't care what level of college football you play. Even if you don't play, if you have the football acumen, I always could tell. That's my gift. I can't do math and all these other things well, but I know people and I know football. Those are my gifts. But your gift to me is when you look at the rest of those quarterbacks in that draft, do you think San Francisco specifically is looking at Justin Fields' climb versus Trey Lance? Obviously, I know Trey got hurt, but are they looking at this in that perspective like, wow, we missed this guy?
I mean, I think so. I mean, again, I loved Fields coming out. I thought schematically Lance was a fit in Shanahan's offense because if you watch what he was doing in North Dakota State, it's like, it's the same offense. I mean, I remember telling people you could get on CoachTube, courses, and I did like $50 a piece from the North Dakota State coaches about their offense and how they get the tight ends involved, how they get the fullback involved, their play action passing concepts. And it's all Shanahan-esque stuff. It's really all Bill Walsh stuff,
Right.
Nothing really new, but it goes back to that.
It does.
So I thought Lance was a really good fit for their offense, Phil, but I still thought that Fields was the better quarterback. I still thought Fields was the more talented prospect. And, when San Francisco made the trade to come up and, everybody said, oh, it's for Mac Jones or, maybe it's for Zach, whoever. I was like, Justin Fields might be there. That would be a fantastic situation because, when they ended up drafting Lance, it was like, yeah, he ran their offense and also he's an athletic guy. So imagine that Shanahan system in a more athletic quarterback's hands. I would have thought that Fields would have been perfect for it too. Now, sitting here right now, I certainly think that, they're seeing, a handful of games from Lance as a rookie, and now he's out this year. So with the growth, what we've seen from Fields, particularly with just the past couple of weeks, but overall, and they're probably thinking this could have been us.
Absolutely. Ivan, you had something? I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to go ahead and chime in on that. Looking at the draft class, has Justin outperformed anybody to that? I mean, other than Lance, Lance has kind of been, he got hurt. We haven't really seen the product. Has he been so far this year? Has he been better than Mac Jones? Has he been better than Zach Wilson? Has he been better than Trevor Lawrence? Like, where does he stand as far as that quarterback class?
Yeah, I mean, I think you could look at film and numbers and make an easy case that he's been better than Wilson and Jones. I mean, and I'm saying this as a Patriots fan. Both those quarterbacks have struggled with turnovers. Both those quarterbacks have struggled under pressure. You look at PFF, their adjusted completion percentage when pressured this year. Jones and Wilson are, 39 and 40 in that stat. I mean, so he's certainly outperformed, I think, those two guys. I think there's a case to be made that he's been better than Lawrence, at least at moments. Lawrence has this weird, from his goal line to the 20, he's fantastic. But in the red zone, he's really struggled this year. And, when I've told Phil this before, when I'm studying quarterbacks for the draft, third downs, fourth quarter, red zone, like that's huge stuff for me because those are your money downs. Those are the moments where you've got to really make plays, particularly down to the red zone where everything's compressed. You've got an extra defender in the end line, so you're running out of real estate faster. If you want an example of that, watch Zach Wilson against the Dolphins. He had a play down to the red zone where I think it was Elijah Moore on a post route, one of those safeties in cover two. Wilson was slow to get to it, and he got his eyes to it eventually, but slow to pull the trigger. He ran out of space because you have that extra defender. Everything has to happen faster down to the red zone. And so Lawrence's numbers down to the red zone are troublesome right now. And so certainly with Wilson and Jones, and I think there's a case to be made that, especially these past couple of weeks, he's right at or even above Lawrence right now. And so if you're a Bears fan, you're looking around and saying, oh, this quarterback class, everyone was saying Fields was the bust. Now who's saying that right now?
When you look at Justin, you hear these things, and I want you to define the best way. He's a one-read quarterback. He's an athlete. He's more of a runner than a passer. And you hear all these things, especially when the Bears lose. They all come out. When they win or their offense is successful, like even I thought his best game was against Dallas as he continues to ascend, and in a loss. Because, Mark, I'm in the game, and I never thought we were going to be out of it. Even when the fumble returned, I'm like, all right, we could go down and get one back. I haven't felt that I don't even remember the last time. Maybe Eric Kramer. I felt confident that he would move the ball down the field. I never felt that. Even my buddy Jim, who was sitting with me, said the same thing. They're not out of this yet. And if you were to define him, he's not a one-read guy.
No. And I always kind of bristle at that sort of one-read tag that gets put on quarterbacks, because a quarterback may look to us on film like he's just making one read.
Right.
9 times out of 10, he's made 2 reads before the ball is even snapped. And I get this little post-it, and I'm holding up right here, and it says Kirk Cousins on progressions, right? Man/zone, shell, cover 2, cover 3, pure progression, right? And that's from a clinic that Cousins did during COVID, that Huddle put together, the film company.
Nice.
They did the Huddle Blitz, and it was a fantastic clinic. And Kirk Cousins is talking about progressions because, you get to the line of scrimmage, you have a play called, the progression your reads might be different from down to down. You might have what he called a man zone read, right? Which is, you don't even know, you don't have to tell me if it's cover 3, cover 4, quarters, quarter, half. If it's man, you're doing one thing to one side of the field. If it's zone, you're doing something else. You've got your man beater to one side, your zone beater to the other side. So if you've got a play like that called and the quarterback gets out there and he throws a slant route right away against man coverage, you might think, oh, he's already ruled 3 of the reads out,
right,
because he knows it's man coverage. And now he's just
brought
going
a
to
guy
read
in
this area of the
motion.
field. Or you got a guy in motion, and or it's just a pure progression read, right? You might have some plays where it's a 3-level concept. You're reading the go, a quick peek to the go, then you're shallow. You might get your eyes there immediately, and then it's all set up for what we call the active route, which is that middle read, right? So a sail concept, you peek the go, you check the flat. If that's open, you'll take it, but then you hit your 5th step. That what you really want to throw is that out route. So you're going 1, 2, 3. Okay,
right.
That's a different kind of progression. Or it's a shell read, right? Middle field open versus middle field closed. Similar to the man zone idea, but middle field open, you'll throw one concept. You might peek that, safety splitter and then get your eyes to the smash concept or something. Middle field closed, you might go backside and come back to a check down, something like that. So he's going through reads. It might look to us like he's just looking at one thing, but he's going through reads, and you're seeing that on film. You're seeing moments where it's like, yeah, he's got a route, but he's not looking at it because he wouldn't look at that. And, whether it's me, whether it's JT O'Sullivan, Tim Jenkins, other people that break down quarterback stuff, they'll tell you this stuff. Are there plays that are pure one reads? Yeah, they're usually screens, or RPOs where it's like, you're going to flash ball and make a decision with it. But as I wrote years ago, RPOs are just another kind of progression read, right? Like you're still reading the defense and reading the concept and making a decision based on what's happened. And your reads are just different. It's handoff or slant, or in some cases, handoff, slant, or keep it yourself. Like that's what the Eagles are doing. It's basically flipping the triple option on its head. And so I always get my sort of guard up when people say, oh, he's just a one-read guy, because there is so much that goes into a quarterback's thought process and decision-making before the snap that we often don't even see, especially you're watching on broadcast, you see the snap, and you're like, oh, he's just looking right away at that flat route. Yeah, because he ruled out everything on the backside, and he saw the leverage of the corner over the corner route he was looking at. So yeah, he's going to throw the flat route. It's the only option he had.
It's like going to a party. They put apps out. I'm going for the wings.
Yeah,
right there, right?
I mean, you knew going in, like before the whistle, before you saw it, you were like, look, they're going to have some like grape leaves out, okay, fine. They're going to have some vegetables and ranch dip out. Yeah, sure, whatever. They're going to have wings too. I'm not putting my eyes to the green stuff, the leafy vegetable stuff.
Right.
I'm going right to the wings.
Gotta go with the wings.
Yeah.
Listen, I know I kept you 4 minutes overtime.
You know me, buddy. Especially you get me going on one read stuff. That's the thing that drives me nuts. Like, oh, he's just a one read quarterback. Look, you know how I know Justin Fields is not a one read quarterback? Because I was, okay? I could only make one read. So I know what it looks like when a guy can only read one receiver and when a guy can read all 5 of them at the same time on a given play.
I think what the Bears are doing, I got to keep it on. I didn't like the end of half play calls going into the half. After the 2 throws I thought St. Brown needed to come down with that one, and the Pettis one was tough, but then we're going shovel past that. I didn't like that. And then at not the final drive, before they took the timeouts, the drive there with the other shovel pass.
Mm-hmm.
I hated that. I was like, just let him throw it downfield. Let the tight end. Oh my God. They had middle field open.
Yep.
And Getsy killed me there. But other than that, I just felt like Justin was building his confidence. That's my last question. Emptying my bag of tricks for you on this right after Halloween. The kids bring all the candy home, right?
I've had so much Reese's in the past couple of days, man. It's been fantastic.
Same.
Yeah, it's so good.
David Kaplan said, Reese's is the worst. I go, what?
Yeah,
What?
and Orlovsky had that too, and I was just like, what are we doing out here?
You got to put both of them stepping out of the end zone with their comments, for God's sake. Let me the one thing you, as a coach and quarterback guru, would work on the most with Justin, what would it be?
Trusting himself. I mean, that's the main thing. Like, because everything that you do at the quarterback position builds from there. And then the main thing that I look at when looking at young quarterbacks first, second, third year is when you start seeing on a consistent drive to drive, down to down basis, those anticipation throws, and they matter so much. And you talk to any receiver coach, any offensive coordinator, and they will all tell you, especially the receivers, if I see you throw it, it's too late. If I see the ball leave your hand, it is too late. And you have to have that trust in yourself, in your eyes, in your read of things, in your read of the progressions that you're going through to make that throw before the break. If you see it, if you have to see it come open to throw it, it's too late. And so that's the main thing. The kids that I coach, they're not making anticipation throws, but there are a couple of times when you see them see a route start to come open and start to throw it, and you're like, that's what I want to see from you. That's what I want, because you're getting ahead of it with your mind. And again, middle school kids, high school kids, that's one thing. NFL is obviously completely different, but those anticipation throws, that's what I want to see. And it starts with his confidence in himself, his confidence in what's happening around him, his confidence in his mind and his eyes that I'm seeing this right. I don't have to wait to see that it's coming open. I know it's going to come open because I know what coverage they're in. I know this guy's going to break when he's supposed to. I see the leverage of the defender. I don't have to guess. I don't have to wait to see it. I know it. That's what I want to work on.
He's Mark Schofield. I love this dude. If you're wanting to learn more about coverages, quarterback play, anticipate. I honestly, I'm not just saying this. I've known Mark for a while now, and Mark not only is so gracious with his time, but he's probably the best analyst, in my opinion, when it comes to the quarterback out there. Follow him at Mark Schofield on Twitter. He's writing for SB Nation. Follow him there. Go over to SB Nation. Give them a look.
The chat loves Mark.
The whole network,
appreciate y'all.
TTNL fan base loves Mark. I kept my text limited when we beat the shit out of the Patriots.
I got him.
Because Mark is so classy.
More, man.
You've always been
much more.
You've always been so classy. You've never rubbed it in. You're always compassionate, and you're just the integrity that you carry yourself with comes through. It's not a phony thing. I really believe in that. You surround yourself with good people. You're a great analyst, and you're somebody that people should be listening to, as opposed to trolls on Twitter and Facebook. And that's why I wanted to have you on here to talk especially about that. I knew it would get you fired up. The one read quarterback stuff.
Yeah, you just dangled that carrot in front of you like a bull, right? Like, yeah, I went right for that one.
Do you know, I didn't even know, Mark, that we hadn't won in Foxborough ever.
Yeah.
The Bears have never won there till this year.
Yeah.
And Justin
Yeah.
Fields was the impetus of that. So people have to understand there's going to be baby steps here. And I have to do it too sometimes. I got to remember I'm so competitive. I want them to win. It was a tough flight home losing to the Cowboys. But it is what it is. Because
Going to Foxborough to beat Belichick, not too many second-year QBs do that.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Mark, for jumping
Thanks so
on
much,
here.
boys. Always a blast. Love you, boys. Thanks to everybody for the kind words in the chat, man. But always a blast.
Shane had a family issue tonight, but he texted me, please tell Mark.
Oh, man. I hope everything's okay. Tell him I said
Yes.
what's up.
Okay, I will. Thank you so much, guys. Follow him, please.
Thanks so much. See you guys.
All righty. Mark Schofield. Great dude. Great friend. Like Claudio, the barber's a great friend. And that was so much fun talking with Mark about Justin Fields and the quarterback position. The big trade happened. I want to answer your question. We're jumping around here.
What's going on?
What's going on?
You tell Mark is real smart. He's got real books in the back. We're used to seeing fake books. That's what real books do for you, Jackal.
Jackal left. He's missing.
No, he's we talked on the show. He's going to be back once soccer.
There he is.
There he is.
He's on the milk carton. That's it.
Yeah, Jackal's got another week of soccer.
Yeah, he said he'll be back.
Yeah, he told me today. I got one more week of soccer. Then I start lacrosse, spinning classes, and
pickleball. Have you heard of pickleball?
Pickleball. Speaking of pickleball, where was I? I left off. The blinds are down, Claude. I get fired up.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a handler for us for the thing. We'll go back. If you're just tuning in, I'm sharing the story. It's story time. Thank you, Bears, Bulls. Sit down, boys and girls. Cross your legs and enjoy the story of the trip. Now, I'm going to answer Claudio's question originally. My fanboy moment, honestly, probably was when I came out the elevator and there's David Montgomery looking at me and goes like this. And then I walk up to him and he gives me this big hug. It was, "What's up, DDP?" And I was like, "Oh my God, what's up, David?" And Khalil Herbert had this. George McCaskey might have the line of the weekend, but Khalil Herbert had maybe 1B Cars, if Cars is listening. Khalil Herbert as David's hugging. Khalil and Blazing Game and Ebner are all there, and there's this couch right outside this big meeting hall. There's a bar. It's on a resort. So I get off the elevator with Jim, and it dings for everyone coming down, and there he is, and he sees me. He's like, "What?" And then we have this embrace, and then I'm like, "Yes, what's up, David? So good to see you." And we're just chatting, and Khalil Herbert leans in. The identity. Tapping on David.
That's fucking awesome.
And it just,
He knows. He knows. See, Bradford?
Yeah. Even Herbert knows.
I guess you watched the show. He's like, "Ain't no question about it." He's like, "Where's my t-shirt?" I go, "I brought no swag. The Bears limit us to how much we can carry on the plane." He's like, "I need a tee." It was so great. And all these guys were great. That was my fanest boy moment, though, is David, like, "We got to call Tate. And we FaceTime Tate. And I'm sitting there, and my hand is shaking. Because I'm like, "Please, Steph, pick up this fucking phone." Because Tate has been asking ever since he found out I was going. When I got to Chicago, have you talked to David Montgomery yet? I just got off. That was all he wanted, right? So I'm calling Steph. She's in Wooden Tap, and she answers. It's my son Devin answering the phone, and here's David Montgomery and me on the phone, and Dev's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Where is your brother and you?" And he's like, "Hi, David." So I felt bad for Devin because Devin answered it, and then all of them got on the phone, and to see Tate's shyness, and he got all emotional that it's really you, David. And he's like, "Yeah, it's me. Hey, Tate." So Tate wears number 32. David knows all the story of Tate, and they're actually going to meet when we come up to Detroit. So he's just a class. I think that father moment, obvious Jim captured it. I mean,
the picture.
Picture.
You smiling, that smile that you were giving,
the biggest smile.
Proud father.
I was just so proud.
Moment. It was awesome.
Yeah, because you all know how much I love David, the person, David, David, the player, you all know how much I appreciate him. But David, the person, to be sitting there and he's acknowledging, thank you so much, Phil. I've been just staying off social media and I've just done that. And I'm so happy you're here. You know, he's so authentic, such a class. I'm like, this is what everything's about. This is what all of this network's about. They know the show. They knew the network, the identity and the jokes. And, you know, they can't really come on the shows based on this new whatever policy they have. So to be there knowing, yes, and I'll get back into the story, knowing that they all know us and have that moment with my son, with David in authenticity. Like it wasn't, oh, this is a chore. I got to talk to this kid. You know what I'm saying? It was like, David, we got to call Tate. You know, he initiated it. And for Jim to capture that moment, so I have that picture, because my wife is taking, you know how on FaceTime you could take pictures, Cherie? She's like, I need better picture. I go, don't worry. Jim took a picture of me talking to Tate, and we'll go from there.
That's awesome. I'm pissed though, man. I must have missed the FaceTime with Mooney. You didn't FaceTime me with Mooney.
Mooney wasn't. The only time I saw Mooney was when he passed me on the plane. He gave me dap.
Yeah.
And then on the field, he wasn't down there. He wasn't hanging out by the bar.
Who else recognized you, Phil? I know David, like you said, David came out of the elevator and knew it was you. Who else was like? Because you know how I felt about it. Like when we were at Larry, my heart was like, man, I hope my boy's gonna be okay. I hope somebody doesn't yoke him up. Like who else saw you and noticed you on the team?
Oh, there's a lot of stories, and Jim is the way. I was hoping that Jim could come on here and testify, but you're just gonna have to take my word for it, I guess, tonight. We'll start off. The first moment is I'm talking with Tony Medlin. So Tony happens to be there, and I'm talking to him, and I have no idea. George McCaskey's walking behind me, right? And Tony's talking to me. I was talking to him about Chris Zorich and Lemuel and Dante, and talking about their stories about him and Jarrett Payton. And then George McCaskey goes, Phil? Nope, he's not coming on your show. Don't even ask him. And I turn and look, and McCaskey's there smiling and George was good. George, honestly, I'll talk a little bit about George. Don't let me forget, but that clearly George initiates that in that moment. That was funny. And the best though was I just got a Di Serono on the rocks with Jim, and I was up by the bar. I'm walking out, and here comes Ian Cunningham. So Jim has been taking pictures and filming shit all night, but right this moment he's not, which sucks because this was great. And Ian Cunningham, the assistant GM, goes with 2 fingers, "The tape never lies." And it never does. And then we just started talking, and I was like, I hold you guys accountable. He's like, you got to. That's what it's. And he was so authentic. He's like, I respect what you guys do. You got to, I get it. That's your job. That's what you got to do. And he was totally authentic. Totally authentic. I did say, Carrie Franklin, when George said he's not coming on your show, Jim Larison actually instigated it. He's like, yeah, because you should come on. And I say it to George. I go, well, we're waiting on you, George, to come on. And he's just like, kept walking his way. I go, that would be an all-time great for every Bears fan if George came on the show and the network. Because Don was upset. There was no VIP meet and greet as it was listed, Ivan, as you saw it on the itinerary. So I'm sitting in this soccer room in Hallis's hallways. With the blinds
That's just
down.
so great. Your first experience
exactly
is watching soccer. That's just
soccer with the blinds down while the Bears are outside the window. It was if you
like torture. That's like literally like
exactly.
That's how you torture Phil.
Exactly. If you wanted to fucking torture me, that is exactly what I said to Jim. And I go, and Don is like, this is some old bullshit. They come out here and it's like. And Don was pushing the button to the woman. Well, and Don's like peeking, pulling the window shade. I get up. I'm like, they're just doing special. And I got to say this for the Chicago Bears. I know you're listening because they know the show. And I'll tell you some bullshit stuff too. Obviously, this isn't okay. It's like they paid a lot of money for this event, right? I won't tell you how much, but they paid a lot of money to charity to get this access, right? And I just think of my uncle Sam Rutigliano. I've been around NFL and the coaching and all of it my whole life. That is warm-ups. They do it at the fucking field with everyone watching as well. You bring the 4 people down on the field and they stand there and watch the team warm up. Maybe 3 or 4 guys you've identified come over and say hello. That's what a professional organization does. There's no fucking secrets. There's no fucking secrets given away. Mm-hmm. It was a disappointment. Like, I've been around it. So it's like, all right, if you're going to be like that, it was odd.
It was the same. It had to have been the same feeling we felt at training camp where it was like, we're trying to hide the phone so we could go ahead and get some film for you guys and our fans. And that had to be the same feeling, Phil.
It was worse, Ivan. You know why? Because you already know that we love this team. Yeah. Like, we're going to give the Cowboys an advantage. You know what they're doing? They're lining up in trips and trying to run a screen in the backside. Like, no, just open yourself up to love. That's what I'm saying. That's what this organization, it's so filled with bureaucracy. Filled with it. Now, Ted Phillips gets on. This is true story now. Ted Phillips gets on the fucking. I have a picture with Ted sitting right. So you know how buses are. Those fucking buses. What do you call them? The nice buses with the bathroom in the back.
The coach buses, yeah.
Coach buses. So there's 2 seats on each side, pretty quality size. So we got to we got to go through TSA. So we go through the Bears press room. I was this close to leaving Courtney Cronin my water, just leaving it on there. I left Joe water. They gave us these nice waters. I was going to leave it because you go through, all of the pressers have their cubbies named, like Potash, Cronin. You go down the line. They have like little cubbies, and then the press room is right there. TSA is going to pat us down, inspect us, go. They got a sniffing dog there. Everybody before you get on the bus, because your bus is taking you right to the biggest plane I've ever been on in my fucking life. I'm telling you right now, this plane fit. There's not 2 planes flying. There's 700 people. I kid you not. 700 people the Bears take on this plane and fly them. There's so many people that aren't needed that are flying. I don't know if it's just payback, whatever. But we go through TSA. We got to get on. We put our bags under. They check the bag, yada, yada. We get on the bus to go. I'm on bus 6 with Jim. We sit down. I'm in the aisle seat. I'm like, oh, boy. I don't know. Are players coming on this bus? I have no idea who's coming on. Here he comes. I go, Ted Phillips is coming on the bus, Jim. He gets on the bus, walks, sees me and Jim, looks at us straight, sits down, says nothing. Bunch of other people. I see Larry Mayer, same fucking shit.
So he sits
Jeff,
somewhere
Jeff,
right next to you or in front of you?
he sat in the seat. You know, I'm in the hallway, you know, the walkways
the aisle,
there.
yeah.
I think you sent me a picture.
And he's the next seat right over to you, right next to you.
Yeah. Upload the picture, Ivan. So Ted is over there. I took a selfie so you could see that Ted is right across the same aisle as me on a window. So there's a seat, then Ted.
Gotcha.
But I'm on the aisle. You got it? Following it? So he doesn't say anything to us. And me and Jim are sitting there. I'm just like, oh my God, my stomach is uncomfortable. Here comes Jeff Joniak. He says nothing. Here comes Tom Thayer. Hey guys, what's up? How you doing? And he shakes our hand and we're talking with Tom. He sits down. And Larry Mayer, oh my God. But anyway, all of these guys. Then McCaskey's the last one to get on the bus. And I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about me, Jim, Rebecca, and Don. His husband and wife are also. They're sitting right. So there you go. There he is, sitting over there. I guess he was in the seat right there. I think that's the right. Yeah, that's it. So you could see where he is to me. George McCaskey gets on and comes right up to Jim, me, and everyone. And it's so nice, so gracious. Thank you guys for your donation. You know, thank you. Really appreciate it. Let's get it. I can see that he's nervous about the game. I got to give him I'm keeping it 100 with you. When he says he's a fan, he means it, that he was truly classy. Truly classy. And we had a handler, Marge. She took us everywhere. She was so worried about Don wanting autographs. Donnie wanted autographs. I'm not an autograph guy. I just like to say hello to the players or talk, you know. So once McCaskey does that, then Ted Phillips now said, oh, okay. It sat weird with me because you're Ted Phillips. Who are these people on your bus? You don't know. How you doing? I'm Ted. That's all I expected. Just a hello and good morning, whatever. Didn't. Odd. So that was weird. Then the plane. You talk about food. I've never seen anything like this on a plane. You get Claudio. There's like 5 ramps to get on this plane. So players over here, players in the middle, trainers are going up here. We're going up here.
Like a double level plane? Like there's like
oh yeah,
like
it's huge. Wow. No, there wasn't a double level like in that movie.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking of.
But it was just huge.
Wow.
Like
talking about Soul Plane?
Yeah, it was like all these levels. No. But up front, first class, they have all the players are sitting in these like rooms, these little cubicle rooms. We're in the back. So I'm sitting right in front of Jeff Joniak. Like Joniak's behind me. I'm in front of him. Jim's in front of Tom Thayer. Then we have 2 empty seats next to us on the plane. But when we walk on the plane, they're handing, do you want Chick-fil-A? Do you want a sandwich? Chick-fil-A sandwich, Chick-fil-A nugget, Chick-fil-A this. This is just the appetizers. I'm starving now, mind you, because it's like 1 now, 2.
And we got Chick-fil-A on a Sunday?
Right.
Yeah, wow. They had it.
Impressive.
It's impressive.
That's impressive.
No, it was Saturday. because we
that's right,
left
it's
the night
Saturday.
before.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it was Saturday. So they're giving Sunday. They gave us when we got on the plane. They gave us what's the name of that burger company?
Smash Burger? No.
Not Smash. Plan B Burger, maybe it was. Plan B Burger. You want a Plan B Burger? That was when we were in Texas. So they gave you Plan B Burger getting on the plane after the game if you were hungry. But that's just the beginning. Then you get a menu. You can order what you want.
Beyond Burger?
No. Plan B Burger.
Plan B Burger.
Yes. Look it up.
Because I'm laughing too because it's like a Plan B.
Well, there's a Plan B out near us. I don't know about you guys.
Is there? No, I don't.
Yeah,
I've never heard of it.
It's like it's a plan. PLAN. Look it up. It's a restaurant quality. Anyway, Plan B Burger. But then you get to pick a menu item for lunch. Then they're giving you snacks. They're giving you snacks. They're giving you want this? You want candy? Do you want whatever? It was crazy the amount of food they're giving you on this flight. Obviously, you can get drinks. I learned what a bear juice is. Do you know what bear juice is, Ivan?
What's bear juice?
It's like orange juice, pineapple juice, cranberry juice is bear juice on the plane. So I don't know where they came up with that. Maybe the old man, Alice. There it is.
There it is.
Plan B Burger. So I guess in Texas, that's a big thing. I know
This
we
one-
have those up in Connecticut
Yeah,
as well.
this one's in Milford. That's where it's saying that one
Exactly,
is.
Milford, Connecticut. Yep.
So anyway, so on the plane, you're chilling out. Oh man. So it was an amazing experience to fly with the team, to see the freaking police escort to the game. It's like it's surreal. Like they're stopping fucking traffic in Chicago. Everybody's moving out of the way. So these buses are flying to get to the airport. You pull up in the back route of the airport, come up, park 7 buses, and then everybody gets off, gets their bags, and is heading up these stairs onto the plane. They're giving you food. You're sitting down. It's crazy. It's crazy. Then you get there. Now you're back on the buses. They're escorting you through Texas now. Now in Texas, they got the motorcycle bikes escorting you. So then it's that. And then you get to a resort, which was gorgeous. And they give you your room number, almost like you're at camp. Okay, you have an envelope with your room key, your name on it. This is where you're going to.
You guys have bunk beds?
No, we did. We had 2 queen size beds in a nice. I mean, it was a big, spacious room. So that was the travel there. And then the next day, when you go to the stadium, same thing. The cops, but the crazy thing, and I'm going to put a slideshow together so people could see all this stuff. They drive you all the way down to the stadium, and then you go under the stadium in these buses. There's a whole fucking street system down there, tunnels and stuff. It's crazy down there. It's crazy. Actually, Jim has a picture of the menu. And they identify where you're sitting. There's like a name tag on the back. So I have a picture of Philatoshin, 49D was my seat.
So, Phil, on the bus on the day of the game, how were the
Yes.
players' demeanor? Like, were they all
Everybody's
just
quiet. Everybody's
Nobody
quiet.
was joking around. Nobody was serious. Okay.
There was, because on this bus, I'm telling you, George McCaskey, after the loss, sat on the plane, let everybody leave. I looked at him because me and him were going back and forth throughout the night. I'll tell you that story in it. But he was pissed that they lost. I could tell. It wasn't like a facade. it meant something to them that they lost. Let me get this picture that Jim sent. Can I grab it on? Anyway, so we're out for dinner. They took us out for dinner, and we had to eat on the resort. And we're sitting there eating, and Don is all pissed off because he wants to have some autographs, and he's complaining to Marge, who's our handler. She's in charge, and she was nice, and she's trying to deal with Don being upset about, and I'm egging it on.
Of course.
I was trying to get Don to come on tonight. I go, I can't believe it, Don, that they didn't do that. And Jim is following and understand. Me and Jim were laughing. And Don's wife is like rolling her eyes. They were just awesome people, great people. But all Don wanted was Justin Fields and Roquan Smith's autograph. I go, don't worry, Don, because Marge was being hesitant about you can't do it on the field. I'm gonna bring my balls down on the field and get them signed. I was like, yeah. So there was this battle going on, and I was instigating it. But anyway, George, the McCaskies are coming through the restaurant to go to their own private room, right? And all of them just pass by and go there. But George stops and says to the waiter, he goes, something like this, like, make sure you don't give these guys any kind of adult drinks or something like that. Jim knows what he said better than I do. And everyone's laughing. I go, I can't help myself. And I don't know if I pissed him off or not, but I go, yeah, just put the tab under McCaskey. That's with an EY at the end to the waiter. And he hears me and he goes, oh, no. And Marge, you would have thought I had shot a nuclear bomb off in this restaurant. No. We're taking care of it. She got all pissed. I'm like, I think he knows I'm joking, Marge. I think he knows.
Pump the brakes, Marge. Calm down.
Marge was getting nervous with me and my jokes for her. So it was fun. It was funny. And yeah, that was dinner. Dinner was amazing. Texas steaks. I got a ribeye that was to die for. And they had this dessert, and it was like a smoke. It looked like a cigar, right? And it was like, I forget the name of something, smoky cigar s'mores, something like that. And it came in this giant like jar that you could see through. And they bring it out and it's just full of smoke. So you can't even see the dessert item in there. So they pull the top off and all the smoke comes into the room. And then you see this ice cream and a fake cigar, right? That's full of like ice cream and candy, and it tastes like s'mores. I was like, holy fuck, this is the greatest dessert taste. It had a smoky taste to it, like it had been on the fire, like a s'more. It was great. Yes, Marge ham. Marge was not a ham. Jim called her Large Marge.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to.
She got fired.
Insulting, but from
I came to Jim's rescue. She was like, "Oh, people say," and I go, "Large Marge in charge."
Large Marge sent you.
Yeah, Marge was like completely in freaking nervous mode with Don. I'm just telling. She was following Don. The best line. I wish, Don, you were here. I don't know if you're playing and listening to the show. So, Don, I'm over here. I promised Don I'm getting him Roquan no matter what. No matter what, I'm going to get it. He's like, I got to stick with you. You know all these dudes by their face. Phil, you know them all by their face, Phil. I go, that's right. Stay with me. So I introduced him to Gibson was amazing. Travis Gibson was amazing. him and his mother. His mother was a sweetheart, and he was just awesome at the place. And then the next day, I see Roquan warming up. I go, there he is, Don. So we're on the field now. We're on the field. This is another great moment, Claude. So we're on the field. We'll fast forward, and then anybody can ask me any questions. Having a good time tonight, talking about the experience, shouting out Jim Larison. I was able to go behind the curtain and travel to Dallas with the Chicago Bears. This is how they do it, baby, right? This is how we do. This is how the Bears do it. I got to experience it from start to finish. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Now, on game day, they give us passes. You can go to Troy Aikman's brunch and eat for free, or you could go down on the field pre-game. What do you think I choose? I'm going on the field, right? I can eat breakfast anytime. I can go to Bratcher's house and have fucking waffles. Today, I'm going down on the field. So we go down on the field, and I'm standing there, and obviously David, all these players coming over, dapping us. I'm yelling, getting them over. I got the coach's voice, right? So I can yell and people can hear me. So I'll go back to Don. He wants Roquan's autograph, right? So I go, there's Roquan warming up with one of those bands around his leg. He's stretching his hamstring. He's warming up in the end zone. I'm going to get him over here. And Don just looks at me like, he doesn't believe me. Like that look. I'm going to get him here. So Roquan starts jogging. He's got his Beats by Dre. And then he's coming closer and closer. I go, Roquan! So loud. Like everybody. And sure enough, I think you saw the picture of me and him.
Mm-hmm.
So prior to that, I'm like, he wants an autograph right here. And sure enough, he signs his jersey. And I was so happy for Don because he really wanted that. And I'll tell you now. Well, I told him like, the night before at dinner. Me and Jim were at dinner, and I'm like, well, it could be worth a lot more because he might get traded on Monday or Tuesday. And sure enough, it happened. Don's probably pissed at it. But so Roquan comes over, and that was amazing for Don. And I'm talking to Roquan, and this was an interesting point. And I shared it on the Super 16 poll show with Chris Zorich last night. And I go, Roquan, man, how you feeling about this? Are you preferring the will? And he just cut me off. And he goes, I'm a Mike linebacker. And I was like, that's I could tell something he was pissed at. So I just put that in my back pocket. And then he was so nice as well. Signing for all. I mean, I think he did the most signing pregame out of everybody, him and Justin. And then Dieter comes by. Now, Mustafa's walking.
That's what everybody in the chat wants to know.
Mustafa's I didn't see. I saw Tevin Jenkins in line as we when we were getting our names for our hotel rooms, and I go, Big Tev. And he's like, what's up, bro? And he kind of like smiled at me. And then he went off with, I think, one of the position coaches. So I saw Tevin. Dieter and I didn't even get to see. We're DMing, and I didn't even get to see him. He comes up to our room to hang out with me and Jim. Meanwhile, we're with Marge down in the steakhouse.
Oh.
So I'm like, bro, I'm down because he's like, Phil, I'm so sorry. I gotta go with my former teammate. I promised him that I'd go out. I go, no problem. He's like, but I'll come up. I'll hang out. What room are you in? So I wanted Jim to meet him and everything. And he goes up to our room. I had my phone down, facing down at dinner. So I picked it up and I see, hey, I'm up here. Where are you at? I'm like, oh shit, we're down here at the steakhouse. And he's like, Phil, I hope you don't mind. I got to get some treatment. So he had that air cast, that air thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, dude, I'll see you tomorrow. He's like, no doubt. So now we fast forward. Now I'm down on the field and Musty's coming right at me. Walking right at, and I go, here comes Mustafa, Jim. And Must goes right by me. In fact, Olin's like, I'm gonna let Mustafa know you're coming, even though you don't like him. Like I like him. I'm gonna let him know you're coming. I was like, let him know I'm coming. But he went right by me, and then Dieter comes over and gives me this bear hug. And Jim took a picture of it. I don't have that. But Jim took a nice picture of Dieter giving me a hug on the sideline. That's when we officially first meet. It's like and he's like, I appreciate everything you do. I'll see you after the game. And he went into drills and we were just watching the drills. I was like, I ain't leaving here until they kick me out. So I was watching. So now this is awesome. This part, I didn't even know they had this. The tight ends, Cole Kmet, Ryan Griffin, and Wesco come right over in front of us, 2 yards, start warming up, doing blocking drills, right? And I go, what? I said something to Cole, and he kind of like, what up? And then I say, UConn to Griffin, and he turns and looks, you from UConn? I go, no, I'm from Connecticut. He's like, where do you live? I go, Southington. He comes over, gives me a dap and a hug. He's like, that's awesome, man. You're Demo's friend. I go, yeah. I go,
That's
okay.
awesome. That's awesome, man.
I go, okay, I'll take that. So he's like, okay. So he's doing the drill. And these 3 tight ends are huge. I know I'm short, but I mean, Cole Kmet is huge, unbelievable in person how big they are. And Ryan is huge as well. So they're warming up, they're doing their drill. I have some film of them doing their blocking drills. And then they go with Justin, they start running routes and throwing tight end routes. So they run a flag route right in front of us. Griffin catches the ball, taps his toes down, and then throws the ball to me. Like, now he's throwing the football at me. I got to make the catch because now I'm under pressure. I catch this ball perfectly, but I'm like, this ball, Claudio, is rock hard. Rock hard.
Clip it.
Just how Cherie loves it. I'm like, so now I got to throw this ball back. And I'm like, this ball is huge. So I have Ivan, I have my thumb and my ring finger holding it because I can't even get my middle finger around it. And I throw it back. I'm like, I better make a spiral. And I've spiraled it back to him. I go, holy shit. So he comes back. I go, that ball is fucking. He's like, that's our heavy ball. Like, oh. Like, so they practice with a heavy ball, almost like a batting practice, like with a donut. And Shane was telling me that basketball, they use a heavy basketball.
So soft hands? Is that what it's?
I guess it's for the quarterback, and for them, the football becomes so much easier to catch because they're catching this hard ass ball. Because I was like, thank God I caught it. Like I was like, holy shit. So that was interesting that they throwing a heavy ball. But that moment was amazing. And Ryan coming over and talking to me, just class act. So it was just, I never met the coach, Eberflus. Never met Coach Eberflus. Like, that was Ryan Poles was focused. Yeah. He never was in the lobby or whatever. I saw him on the field and he walked by. He was talking with Justin Fields' agent. And I don't know. Can someone check if Fields and Roquan have the same agent? because there was a lot of movement going over
Roquan
there.
doesn't have an agent.
Oh, that's true. He doesn't have an agent. There was a lot of movement going over there to Justin's agent. With Ryan Poles went over there to talk to him. And
that's Claypool. Him and Claypool have the same agency.
Oh, so there you go. So they were making this conversation happen right in front of me. Because I'm like, who is this guy? And the dude next to me is like, that's Justin Fields' agent. So now Claypool's agent, it all makes sense. So he was like nervous. I'd never seen two GMs. They were wearing Bears gear. They went away. I think they left the field for like 12 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, it seemed. They come back, they're in full suits. I'm like, what is this? The ESPY Awards? They were in Bears gear. Now they're in suits in like 5 minutes. They made a fucking costume change. So anyway, Poles walked by me. I was like, what's up? And he's like, just how you doing type of thing. But I never got to talk to him either. The VIP meet and greet was a disappointment. It never happened, as Don can attest and Jim could attest. Here it is. Jim sending me the picture of me and Dieter on the sideline. Here's Don too. I'll get some of these and download them up there. Marge watching, overlooking. She did not want him to have the autograph. I'll tell you that. I'll get the menu, but I put all this stuff. I just didn't have time with doing the tape, cutting the tape, and putting this all together. I hope you're enjoying the story here.
Gold, man. This is awesome.
The story.
I'm just happy for you, man. Like, you got the experience. All the David Montgomery story was, to me, that was like the best.
With
you got to spend that with the kids, and that was just awesome, man.
The other truth is, David, after he said that, he's like, I'm not on social media, and he's like, take my number right now. And calls me and is like, you got me locked in. And I texted him, thanks. And he's like, I so appreciate what you guys do. Thank you for all your support. That's the guy he is. That's the guy he is. None of this would happen, though, without Jim Larison and everything he's done for me, believing in this network and me. And it was a lifelong dream come true. Nothing's going to ruin it for me. I'm not talking about it to brag about it. I would never have this experience if it wasn't for Jim. And that means a hell of a lot to me. Ivan, you, Cool Kennedy, Ron G, Mike Tenorelli, all of us went out. Am I forgetting him? Andrew, the patron, and his wife, Courtney, all came out to Jim Larison's house. And we had a nice night, all of us together. Some food, pizza, Illuminati's.
We got to meet some of the neighbors and friends.
Oh, my God. Bernie, and my favorite, Mo. Love Mo. Maureen. Shout out to Bernie and Maureen. There we are.
There you are.
There
Phil,
we are.
We got to know. Did
Yes.
they not have a suit in your size?
They did not. I picked that up at J.C. Penney like the night before. Jim's like, oh, and you need a sports jacket. I was like, oh, my God. I don't have no sports jacket. So I just grabbed one.
I think somebody asked if that was Coach O's jacket.
That was Chris Jackal.
Shane was killing him when he posted it. Shane was killing him.
Was he?
In the chat. Well, yeah, he was making fun of you.
Oh, thanks, Shane. I thought we were friends. Let me.
But Larison, what a great guy. That's Larison for people that are watching and don't know.
That's Jim Larison. He is our business manager, and he also is our great friend. How long does it take for these things? I guess I have to plug in my phone to get them. So now let me tell you this. Thank you for asking, Ralph. That's why I open it up to questions. I did ask McCaskey about the new stadium. I got to say, this guy, Lee, who's in charge of season tickets and all that stuff, is probably my favorite person in the Bears organization. This guy was the nicest guy. I mean, just a class act. I guess he runs all the season tickets and all that kind of stuff. And he was just, you're just around someone, you know, and you're around all these people, someone with such great positive energy, just great energy. And shout out to Lee for being so positive for the Chicago. I forget Lee's last name, but he left such a good impression on me. Lee did. Let me pull up this picture, Claudia. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, his question. So I'm sorry, Ralph Barf. So Jim, oh God, I hate when they do this. Am I in the wrong section? Yeah, I'm in the video. That's why. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to upload a picture. There it is, of Dieter and me here. So I asked George McCaskey, and then he's like, you know what? I go, is there going to be a roof? Are you having a dome? Or is there going to be a retractable roof? So it's 100% going to be a dome with no retractable roof. So you could break that news out there. Apparently, Ted Phillips has done the research, he said, and that it's not worth the expense, is his exact quotes, because it's so pricey to have the retractable dome that it's not worth the expense.
Yeah, think about maintenance.
Why we don't have these guys on here.
Maintenance and upkeep has to be a bitch.
So they are going to have a dome stadium. Someone hit it.
All right, I got it.
There. Thank you.
We're on the same page. That's why.
So that, Ralph, I did ask them about that, and they're 100% going to have a dome stadium. Here is me with Dieter Eisland.
That's
see the height.
That's fucking hilarious.
Oh my God.
Is that Don next to you?
Is he like not hugging you and you're hugging
That
him?
is not
That's kind of
Don.
awkward.
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh my God.
He hugs me, and then it's like the hand, so it's just weird how he captured it.
That's awesome.
I could show you the other picture.
Like he's just waiting to get it over with. He's like, God, come on.
I'll share the other picture because I figured there'd be one Bratcher in the group. Hold on. It's uploading now. You can see we shake hands, Alan. See?
Okay.
And
he
then,
does like you. Okay.
There we go. I don't film. I don't want to pull the film out on these guys. But yeah, that was a great moment. Dieter got in the game playing guard. I mean, I have it on tape ready to rock and roll for tomorrow for patrons. Dieter goes out there, knocks Vanderbosch on his ass.
Mm-hmm.
Knocks him on his ass, then goes out, and then he plays center. They call timeouts, and Eberflus wanted to see him at center, is what he said. I wish I was able to talk to Eberflus. I would have some things to say to him. I did see I did meet Luke Getsy. How about this story, Cherie? So Luke Getsy gets out of the elevator, and I've already said hello to him once. I'm like, "What's up, coach?" He's like, "What's up? Good luck today." He's like, "Thank you." I'm like, "Okay, keep running the football." He's like, yeah, I'm going to. Trust me. So he leaves. So I tell Don, I go, you missed Luke Getzey. He's like, what? Missed Luke Getzey. I got to get a picture of Don up here. And he's all pissed. So sure enough, Luke Getzey comes back again. So this time I'm like, Coach, you know what? I got one request. Well, I got two. He goes, you do? I go, yeah, I got two. I go, counter. Just can run counter. And he smiled. And I go, the last request is QB power at the goal line. Don't fuck around. And Marge is getting so nervous.
Marge.
And I'm like, Marge, they did their background check of me. Come on. I'm like, don't fuck around. Quarterback power at the goal line. What was the first touchdown, Bratcher? Quarterback power on the goal line. And that was a blast to see that. I honestly thought we were going to get boat raced out the building. The way they were moving the football is 14-0. I'm like, oh my God, this is what I came to see. We're taking, and then Justin just rose to the occasion. And then QB power, and you guys know the rest of the story, but that was fun to get on Getzey. He was a nice guy. I did hate the shovel passes, both of them. Get it out. Shovel that shit out of your playbook. That's what I would say to him if I saw him again. Like, get rid of the shovel pass. I was going to tell you something else. So at night we're hanging out. That's where I met Ian Cunningham and a bunch of players. Everybody. DeAndre Houston Carson. Me and him were talking for a good long time, and he was just, shout out to him, just the consummate professional. I predicted a block punt. DeAndre, I wish you were able to get it, but we didn't. But just a great, great football person and an asset, really, to the Chicago Bears. So all of the players, not one guy was highbrow, you know. It was just the front office and organization that I felt like the shades being down. I don't know how much I want to share. I always want to keep it 100, but I don't want to like throw shade. But I just felt like Jeff Joniak came across like his shit doesn't stink. And it bothered me. It's just like, maybe he's having a bad day, maybe that, but bad 2 days, I don't know. I know the Bears lost. And that was the one thing that I got to keep 100 that I had to get off my chest. It stayed with me forever. You're Jeff Joniak. You're the player. Why do you you don't have to be holier than thou. Say hello to people. You know, it just.
Especially when it sounds like Thayer was like the complete opposite.
Thayer was the Joniak sat right behind me on the plane. Thayer sat 4 seats over there. Thayer said, hey, I'll come on your show. Absolutely. Thayer's talking to me. Joniak's looking down, ignoring. At the end of the game, Jim was talking so loud on the plane. Now, the night before, Jim and Don and these strangers and people that are in this resort and the country music were sitting out by a bonfire. It's gorgeous. Cool night there in Texas. It was probably like 50. People were cold. Don and his wife were out there. All of a sudden, they're talking about these Vegas bombs.
Oh.
Vegas bombs. I'm like, he's like, let's do a shot. I go, I'm good.
Here we go.
Oh boy.
I go, I'll do a shot of Patron. He's like, Patron? We gonna do Vegas bomb. I'm like, what's a Vegas? Jim goes, what's a Vegas bomb? Jim Larison has 9 Vegas bombs.
Oh my God.
That's 9 of them.
Oh my God.
What's in a Vegas bomb?
There you go.
I've never heard of a Vegas bomb.
I'll look it up.
Cherie had it last night.
It's what is it? Crown Royal.
Crown Royal. What's that power drink?
Red
It's
Bull,
got like
cranberry juice.
peach schnapps in it too.
Yes,
Yeah,
peach
schnapps,
schnapps.
I think it's cranberry juice too. I think.
Cranberry, yes.
Yeah, I've
Let
had a
me
few.
tell you, I
They're not
had
too
two
bad.
Di Seronos. I like the Di Serono. I'm not a beer guy. I've never pretended to be. I like the fruity drinks. I'm cool. You can make fun of me all you want. I'll have a sangria. I'll have margarita. I'll have. That's my style. I'm not a.
So
per
you're not
se
ashamed to be the guy with the drink with the umbrella.
With the blue.
Not at all. I could give two shits. I'm like,
See, I
this is
respect
who
that.
I
I
am.
hate the guys that
Nothing
try
wrong
to
with
be too
that.
macho to order the fruity drinks.
Yeah,
The
I'm
fruity
not
drinks get you messed up way more than them whiskeys
Absolutely.
and stuff.
Damn right.
Absolutely. I'll have a Di Serono and Coke. It tastes, I forget what they call that. That's good too. Or Malibu and Coke has a really cool taste. Just I like to take the edge off. If we're gonna take a shot, though, I wanted Patron. They didn't want it, so I followed them. Now there's a table over here of all these Cowboy fans, and they're having fun with us. Like going, they were not dicks. No Cowboy fan. I kid you not. I was like, these fans are like the. In fact, the guy sitting next to me was like, that Cole Kmet hole was some old bullshit. Bullshit. Jim's
there he
calling.
is.
There he is. He had 8.5.
Gotta stop laughing.
That's
Gotta
perfect
stop
timing.
hating people like they drink.
How do you have half a shot, Jim?
It's true. He had 8.5. So there's this table. This is the funniest fucking story. And I'm still haven't told you the other funny story. Let me tell you this story, and then I'm cracking up on the fucking plane. Or where was I? On the bus. I'm on the bus ride back to Hallis after the loss with McCaskey's, and I can't keep my composure. I just start cracking up at the story I'm going to tell in a second. So here, Jim is having all these drinks. I have one fucking Vegas bomb. I'm like, all right, I'm good. It was all right. I woke up at 4 in the fucking morning of the game, having the fucking repeat of that shit. I was like, oh man. Jim slept like a fucking zombie. It was like he didn't move. He woke up at the alarm. You ready to go?
8.5 fucking Vegas bombs.
Exactly. That's what Jim's wife Jen said. So we're at this awesome resort. The fire pits are going, the country music. All I wanted to play is Travis Tritt song. It's a great day to be alive. He's like, I don't know that song. I'm like, the one fucking country song I know. So I'm asking this. We're by the fire pit. These Dallas Cowboy table are already talking to Don and Jim as I'm trying to talk to the musician. I come back. They're buying our table shots and drinks now. We're all getting along. And there's this one Hispanic Mexican dude, Mexican guy. I'm Mexican. He had a Mexican hat, and he's so proud of his team. And all of a sudden, him and Jim are hitting it. I'm buying you. What's up, man? What's up? He keeps coming over to me, and I'm like leery of because he's way over the drink limit. I can see he's staggering. He's drunk. Jim's talking right with him, souping him up. I'm like, his friends are all over there. Little do I know, they've already told Jim this guy's having a tough time. So I'm sitting there like, okay, it's almost 11:30. I'm tired. I'm worried. Jim's talking to this guy. This table's rowdy. I'm like, let's go back to the room. Nope. This dude, I kid you not, Jim starts giving this dude therapy. I swear to God. This guy straight break down and starts crying at the table as Jim Larison takes him under his wing. He's like, I kid you not.
Wow.
Just been through a divorce, man.
Oh my
Just been
god.
through a divorce. Afraid of the kid. Yeah, it's like I could tell you're a great dad. You're a great dad.
You need a good lawyer.
My stomach is killing. I'm like,
Oh my god.
Everything's gonna be
God.
all right. You're gonna get out of this. Jim is giving this guy life advice. I
man.
am fucking cracking up laughing. I'm like, what is going on? Jim's like, let's have it. The guy's like, we need one more fucking shot. One more. I'm like, how many more? And they have another shot for the table. Now their table's talking to us. Thank you. They're going like this behind his back. Thank you so much, Jim, for helping him. He's having a tough. And they were the nicest guys. And oh my God, Jim just doing that was hysterical. It went on for a long time, and it was just, I'll never forget Jim giving him advice, even to the very end, as Jim embraces him before we go upstairs. And he's like, good luck to you guys tomorrow. I might even choose the Bears to win, the Mexican dude said. I don't remember. I never got his name. He just was, I'm the Mexican guy. So don't get offended by that. That's what he is. I mean, somebody's going to, yeah. That's what he went by. I can't tell you. Anyway, got to tell you this other story. So remember Don won all of the autographs. So I told you about Ryan Poles going back and forth to the agent over there. And so did Justin Fields. So now everybody's waiting for Fields. That's all everybody wants is his autograph. Kids, parents, all these people. I'm standing over here watching it all. And Justin starts walking over and everybody starts moving. Like a crowd goes down towards that agent. Justin goes to talk to him. They're going to take pictures. Don takes his jersey and starts moving that way, right? I'm like, oh boy. I stay exactly where I am, where you saw me with Dieter and everything, right there on the 20, just watching practice. Then I meet Pringle. And I met Pringle the night before, and he had I go, no go. He's like, shook his head that they weren't going to let him go. So we're just chit-chatting. Then the players are going by. We're high-fiving. So I'm watching practice. My son, it was so bright. They sat us on the bright side. Oh, that's the other thing I got to tell you, too, before I forget. We're on the freaking sunny side. I mean, it's so bright watching this game. They should have shut that dome top. Maybe Ted Phillips is right because it was right in our face. And I'm standing there with my sunglasses on, watching practice, and all of a sudden, Don comes right back onto my shoulder. It says the funniest thing. And he goes, he leans in. He's like, that damn Marge, she's on me. She's on me like a frog on a cricket. I proceeded to start cracking up. A frog on a cricket. I kept that in my head all day. And then when we got to Hallis Hall, Jim says it like a frog on a cricket. And I can't stop laughing on the bus thinking of Don saying that. Because Marge was so worried that we like a frog on a cricket, Don. I'll never forget. It could be a t-shirt, Alex. TTNL on the Bears, like a frog on a cricket. Oh my God. That was so much fun. So much fun. The experience, obviously. Oh, that was the other thing. And I don't know if it's the rule or not. Jim's saying it might be the rule. But they paid pretty hefty to experience this, and the Bears give you a ticket to the game. Jim, unbeknownst to me, sees their ticket and says, fuck that. We ain't sitting there. Apparently, they were going to sit us in the 400 section. Now, this stadium is fucking huge.
Yeah.
Most stadiums only go to 300.
This is 400. I'm
yeah,
telling you, it's
that's
huge.
big.
I have no idea until Don starts complaining to Marge about his ticket. So he looks at his ticket and he goes, 400? We're even sitting up in the nosebleed. And he's talking, how are we sitting that far up? And Jim's like, I'm not sitting that far up. And Don's like, you aren't? Nope. I'm going to sit here. And Jim obviously upgraded. We sat, I have never been to, it was like an all-inclusive football wedding. That's all I can tell you. We go into this club seats. They have a fucking chef's laid out food, all you can eat, all you can drink. Then you walk down to your seat, go back up if you want. It was the greatest experience sitting that Dallas Cowboys do this. All-inclusive club seat. Unbelievable. I got to get Don on the show.
Yeah,
Huge Bears fan. Huge Bears fan. Him and his wife are absolutely amazing people. I joke around with Don's accent. When you hear his accent, you will know. Jim has the shots of Vegas bombs. Anyway, that's it. Is there any other questions of anything that I didn't? I
have a
missed
question
something.
for
Yeah.
Jim.
Yes. Is he there in the
Do y'all
chat?
need help? Jim, do y'all need help in the HR department?
Yeah, no lie. Oh my God. That office.
Jim.
Man, them pictures, that office, that work environment.
Oh my God.
I'm not a big fan of moving back home, but
It was when I walked into Jim's office. When you come off the street, there's a Dunkin' Donuts at the bottom of the building. You walk in the door, man, you go up the elevator, and then you're up
okay,
there.
Jim, say they hiring.
Look.
Oh, okay.
There we go, Cherie. Just let her work Wednesday
Be the
nights here.
doorman. Jeez. Man.
So, yes, Jim's office and the experience there was amazing. I don't know. I have to pull him off my phone to get him on the show, but he has the dessert pick. Jim was taking more picks. I couldn't even keep up. The lunch with David Kaplan was great. Breakfast with Olin said the funniest fucking thing. Because Jim was worried about me yelling or getting fired up in front of these guys.
I wonder why.
Jim.
I think if they let you give them a fucking rant at halftime, we win that fucking game.
I think we would have won if they let me get a rant in there at halftime too. But Jim, what was I saying? Fuck, Olin and I are with Jim eating breakfast, and Jim says something about, I'm worried about him screaming or saying something to these players. And Olin's like, these guys are grown men now. They ain't kids. They're grown men. And then he says, there's 2,000 players in the NFL, and they're only in the NFL because they're keeping them out of prison or something like that.
Wow. What? Holy.
You better watch yourself out there.
Man.
As he was, he was joking. He's like, that's how fired up. Don't be running your mouth on the players. He was trying to say that. It was so funny. Olin was great talking about his stories with the whole experience. Phil, did you come back with a different mindset about George? I did have a lot more respect for George. I could tell it matters to him, and I could tell that he wants to build something special, that he cares. And I feel like he is a real people person. Like the guy Lee that I talked about, he came off empathetic and caring. Like there is no Bears without the fans. Like you can't be sticking your nose up at people.
Was it Lee Twirling?
Lee Twarling. Thank you. Lee Twarling was, I'm telling you, bright up a room, class act. And Jim is right. George, he just needs better leadership. It's lacking. There's too much bureaucracy. And maybe when Ted Phillips retires, it'll change. But the culture should never be window shades drawn. Never. You're a Bears fan. You're football. You understand that glimpse that you might get every day isn't happening for everybody. And that's where they need to prove in that embracing the fan. You can't be worried about Ivan and Bratcher filming training camp. That shit can't bother you. You got to embrace the fans. That's my uncle had taught me that forever. The Patriot way. That's what it is. They embrace the fan. Yes, there's a time for business. But if you're going to have a VIP meet and greet listed on the itinerary, you damn well sure better have a VIP. I can't be your VIP, right? People were joking. Well, you were the VIP. I was like, no, you bring out Ryan Poles for 5 minutes or whoever, player, Justin, whoever, and say hello to these people. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for being a fan. I hope you're going to enjoy this. Now, George did that on the bus. That's exactly what he should do. But I'm just keeping it 100. And to help them, honestly, it's to help Marge and all of them understand. You got to push back to your boss and say, there's got to be some sort of connection that you have. It can't be the gala of the ball only. It's got to go down to the plumber, the garbage man, the whatever you do. That blue collar person needs to have this experience too. I truly believe it. And the training camp is the perfect place. So to take away pictures, cameras, all that stuff is crazy. And you should be doing so much for the community, especially this. Yeah. Jim is a witness to all the coaches, the staff. Everybody knew about TTNL. It was very evident. In fact, Larry Mayer putting his head down. Knew I was there, TTNL. But the coaches knowing, Jim captured a bunch of stuff that I didn't. So even when I was walking in there and the tape never lies stuff, people asking for T-shirts and swag. Why didn't I bring it? Then I wish George was there because George said I only could bring a certain bag, a certain size. They literally made Don's wife get a new bag. They had to send their driver to go to a Kohl's or something to buy a bag so she can, because to condense her bag, it was too big. So she had to take stuff out of it. It's crazy. Larry and Jeff know that you and Shane are, I don't know about that. I don't think they want us to be back. Oh, it was Don's bag of footballs.
Smart man.
Where is Don?
Smart man.
I can't wait for you guys to meet Don and his wife, Rebecca. The Fields. Don's last name is Fields. Here's another funny story. Wow. So I'm sitting there talking with Blazing Game and the running back crew, right? Don sees Justin Fields walk by. Now they have a hallway and meetings are down there, but the elevators to get up to our floor are down there as well. So Don, there's a security. They all have the white ear thing, like the CIA with the wire coming out, all the security. So Don takes off, sees Justin Fields walking. Justin! Justin's ignoring and walking. Security starts moving towards Don. And he goes, Justin Fields, it's Don Fields. Justin turns around, comes back, and he's like, what's up? He's like, you remember me? I remember you. And he's like, I want, it's your cousin, Don Fields. And Justin had a great smile on his face. He's like, I'll see you tomorrow. And he's like, all right. I don't think he ever did see him. I was the only one that went over to Justin on the plane. And Dieter. I want to tell you the story, but then of Hallis Hall. But Jim, I think it'll paint the Bears in such a bad way. Or one person it'll paint in a bad way. So I got to think if I should tell this story. It'll be like a tease. But
well, while you think about that, I do have another question about your experience.
Yes.
I know you mentioned that Travis Gibson's like mom was there on the sideline. Do you know if that's like a common thing to have the family there with them on the sideline, or was it just because of this event they had allowed the players to also bring their family?
It seemed to be because I go, what bus were you on? To his mom. She's like, bus? They didn't bus us over here. I was like, no, you were at the resort. So it seemed because his mom is a principal or assistant principal, I believe, in Texas.
Oh, okay.
So she was there. So it wasn't a common thing, I don't believe, that they bring the parents down there. I didn't see any other parents. Maybe Justin's dad, but I really wouldn't. I didn't know because the only thing I asked her was, what bus were you on? So a lot of their families who were from Texas and Dallas came. There you go. We're on the sideline. His mom, oh my God, she was a sweetheart. And they knew about the show. Now, Jim's wife, had met Travis in Dallas before, and he had promised that he'd go on the show. And then for him to meet her, I mean, he loved Jim and he loved me. The charity event was only for the 4 people. They wouldn't let any more than 4. Trust me. I thought it was just me and Jim, and then we found out that it was 2 couples, 2 people. Them and me and Jim were a couple, I guess, for that weekend. Oh my God. Okay, let me just tell this truth because it really bothered me. So remember how I hadn't seen Dieter. So Dieter, we're getting shuffled out of there. I could barely do BHL, like just an appearance, because we got to hustle. We got to get out of here. We're hustling. I'm like, what the hell? We thought we were going to meet with the players and have a snack with them after the. Nope, hustling to the bus. Now we're in these chambers and everything. Dieter's like, where are you? I'm like, I think I'm going through secure TSA again. So we're on TSA. Now we're on the bus. Now we're on the plane. Where are you sitting? I go, I'm all the way in the back. He's like, I'll see you when we get back to Hallis Hall. I want to talk to you. Now, I talked to him on the plane going in. After I talked to Justin, Dieter was like 6 rows back after him. Yeah, they yelled at Jim. Security was yelling at him as he's taking pictures of me walking in the tunnel, but he really wanted to take pictures of the police on the motorcycles that give us the escort out of there. So anyway, fast forward, we fly back to to Chicago. We get escorted again at night back to Hallis Hall. Dieter DMs me, I'll see you. What bus are you on? I go 6. He's like, I'll see you outside the bus. So I get outside. I grab my bag. There's Dieter. Gives me this big hug. We're talking. This is true story. So now Dieter is standing there talking to me, way above me, looking down on me, obviously. He's so big. And we're having a conversation. Marge, Phil, gotta go. We gotta go. I turn. I'm like, what? We're done. So Dieter's like talking to me, and he's like, so what did you think of, I got in at the end. I go, oh, you did great. I go, I'm up in the stands, but I was watching it on the TV thing, and I saw you bury Vanderbosch. He was like, yeah, I really want your opinion. And he's talking to me. Marge again. Phil, we got to go. We got to go. I go, I'm standing here with Dieter. Calm. Like, what is going on? Like, all of the people are leaving. All these players just get off the bus, grab their bag. Their cars are right there. They go to their car. You should see the parking lot. Ask Jim. It looked like, Christmas ends and everybody's leaving the mall. It's like everybody's getting out of there. So again, Dieter's walking with me. He's like, what is her? I go, I have no idea. What am I doing? I could walk across the street by myself. So Dieter walks with me. And she's like, we just gotta go. Like, she was that worried about me talking to Dieter on the property. I have no idea. So it just left that. It bothered me. Like, can I just have a conversation with a friend for a minute? Like, it just bothered me. So that was Marge in charge. Marge in charge. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, actually I could. It sounds exactly what we experienced during training camps. I would not be surprised that somebody would go ahead and be, hey, you gotta go, and start, nagging you about it. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all.
Yep, same.
It was just odd. Like, you got to learn from that. The trip's over. We're leaving. I'm talking to a friend.
It sounds like, just describing that whole experience, that she seemed so nervous throughout that she would get in trouble.
Exactly.
For letting y'all do something that, y'all shouldn't be doing. So maybe, yeah, it sounded like she was kind of freaking out because you were talking to Dieter. So, yeah, I don't get that. That is weird.
Nobody's there. Everybody's bouncing. I mean, Lamborghinis, Mercedes, BMs, big Cadillac. Every car you could think of is just bouncing out of there. We're standing. It's raining, mind you. It's not like whatever. Like, I'm not going to hang out at Hallis Hall. I'm on the cusp of the exit. It was weird.
But yeah, I think what Lift for Pancakes is saying, she might be one of those people that's always getting in trouble for doing something wrong. So she's always on edge.
Well, that's what they have to stop. You have to stop getting Marge in trouble for that. Because there's nothing wrong with opening the shades and watching like a frog on a cricket.
Thank you, Bullets, for that, by the way. Shout out, Bullets.
Oh my God.
My guy.
So yeah, that's the thing that needs to stop. Like, no one's trading secrets. We're not getting any. What are you gaining pulling the shades down? An advantage of who? You should give your fans a view.
Yeah.
This is what practice looks like here at Hallis Hall. This is the behind the scenes. I'm seeing everything else. It's just too much. Daryl, perfect. Too much of that corporate shit. I've been around it I could tell the good from the bad coaching. It's corporate. Once you put that into it, like Jim's business, I said it to him. If I ever was the head coach, I was hired as a head coach. Jim is the first guy I hire. You handle all the business. And I want fans. I want fun. I want, a line, though. I know you understand the line, but there has to be no bureaucracy of that nature. Perfect that. There's too many layers there. It's a mixture. They're trying to get a bunch of young people in there, and they got a bunch of antiques in there as well. It's not mixing well on that side. Maybe Ryan Poles will turn this around, but it's been crazy. Claudio's getting props for his straight face. Oh, here he goes.
Have a nice day. Be sure and tell him Large Marge.
Large Marge.
I had to do it. I'm sorry.
Of
Reminisce.
course.
That was one of my favorite movies.
Tell him Large Marge sent you.
Large Marge.
Listen, we've said it all. I think I've said it all. Is there any other questions? We didn't even do. We don't need to do bear up, bear down.
I mean, I think you got to touch on, obviously, got to talk about the trades and everything that went down, right? I mean, you want to talk about that? Got time?
We did talk about him.
Quite a bit.
Oh, well.
But we didn't do this.
Ooh, no. Speaking of that,
We do have to pay some bills around here, Marge. So we got to have Cherie help us out.
As long as Cherie's happy, I'm happy.
It's Thomas Jones speaking his truth. As long as Cherie's happy, I'm happy. I love Cherie's mom.
some other truth in there too, Phil.
Send that one to my mom.
I got you, Cherie. I got you.
I'm still waiting on the Thomas Jones. Leave me alone, Bradford.
I got it up.
I'm just a fan. I'm not a football evaluator.
Oh, man.
George did have his full fan face and energy on. He was great.
Then let me do what I hired to do.
I felt like Don was the Midwestern version of Angela. That's how great Don is. You ready, Cherie?
I'm ready.
We said it all on the trip. I think everybody heard the stories. Now
we are coming into fresh ball fall. It's the season of pumpkin spice and making sure your crock looks nice. Oh God, I can't talk. That means sipping cider in the fall breeze and using Manscaped products to trim your balls with ease. That's right. Today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, a company here to make sure that your foliage isn't the only thing shedding its excess leaves. Heck, even Mother Nature knows it's time to lose the excess clutter for fall. Join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code YOKO. Now, y'all, I can imagine the confidence that y'all feel when y'all got that fresh, clean shave, ball smelling nice. It's a confidence booster. You may be able to
like
pull
8.5 shots of Vegas bombs.
You get that liquid courage once
Yes.
man's is cleared and clean. Whether you're brand new or already with us at Manscaped, you can use the crown jewel of care for your family jewels, the Platinum Package 4.0. With this glorious package, you can align your entire hygiene routine all in one swoop. Inside the 10-part Platinum Package is everything you know and love about the Performance Package, plus some shower goodies included to elevate your grooming game to platinum. The Lawnmower 4.0 body trimmer and Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer feature proprietary advanced skin safe technology to protect your delicate parts and holes. Both are waterproof, so you can keep scaping even as the weather's changing. In addition to shaving, you can now completely upgrade your shower routine with the Ultra Premium Body Wash and Ultra Premium 2-in-1 Shampoo, plus conditioner. I love all of feeling hydrated and smelling fresh. Don't forget to apply their aluminum-free Ultra Premium deodorant, and don't worry, it's not pumpkin spice. It's a cologne quality fragrance.
Oh, yeah.
But we shouldn't save a signature scent for our pets. Use Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner to make sure your go-to smell is top shelf and not sweaty balls. I love balls.
How does one tone their balls?
Tone them up.
It's a toner, just like we use face toner. You need a toner for down there to keep the face tight, keep it tight.
Then let me do what I hired to do.
Just do what they gotta do. Just do what you gotta do.
Get with the program, Ivan.
Come on, Ivan.
Come on, Ivan. Don't you know how to tone your balls?
I gotta catch up. I gotta catch up.
Jim Larison, there he is. Yoko.
Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Platinum Package 4.0, the Manscaped boxes and the Shed Travel Bag, both specially made to hold your goodies. Get the Platinum Package this fall. These products are guaranteed to be hits for your dangly bits. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping with the code YOKO. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com when you use code YOKO. Manscaped. Clear out the leaves. It's your tree trunk's time to shine. Even the dogs agree.
Is that my dog?
Those are my dogs going nuts.
Oh, I'm like, is
My
my
dog
dog
agrees.
up?
Come on.
I'm like, is that my
Agreed.
dog? Can't believe she's
Well done. Very well done, Sheree.
Yoko. Use the promo Yoko. You can see the guy with 8.5 Vegas bombs right there. 20% off. Use the promo code Yoko plus free shipping. I'm telling you right now, I brought my Manscaped Razor 4.0 with me on the plane, Sheree.
You
brought
use
it.
that Shed Travel Bag, huh?
I've used the Shed travel bag. I was there. I made it. I had to be spicy fresh, Ivan. I got to be toned up.
Jeepers creepers.
Exactly. Jeepers creepers is right. Manscaped. Thank you, Manscaped, for sponsoring us in this Dangly Bits show that we call Keeping It 100 each and every Wednesday night, entertaining you. I hope you enjoyed the story time with DDP tonight, reflecting back. I asked Jim to come on. I asked Don to come on. They all left me hanging. But hey, Manscaped. That's what they do. 4.0, 20% off Yoko. There you go. Manscaped. Let's talk trades real quick, Claudio. Real quick. Someone can hit that drop. Where is it? I want to hear it. Real quick. Real quick. Real quick. I think Alex Acevedo made that whole drop, to be honest, now that I think about it. Can you confirm or deny that, Alex, in the chat? Real quick, obviously, Chase Claypool, we talked about it last night on the Super 16 poll show. We talked about it on our pop-up show on Patreon. If you're not a patron, become one, thetapeneverlies.com. Ivan and Cars and myself went live talking about how big this is. I think it just verifies their belief in Justin, number one. Number two, they identified that they were going to trade Roquan essentially for this pick. So they obviously backed themselves up because they used the Bears pick, because the Packers, they keep the Packers from getting him. That's another plus. But the Packers were offering a 2 as well, but the Bears used their own 2 instead of the Ravens, which is a lower 2 if you're gambling. So that sweetened the deal. They were able to get Chase Claypool. And I honestly think that this is a huge signing. It's going, as Schofield said, it's going to give Justin a whole different kind of passing range. So if you're an accurate passer, you're an anticipated passer, or you're throwing back shoulders, this guy, his radius, we saw what he did in Pittsburgh with 10 touchdowns, right? And the big playmaking player he was early on. Now, you hope his mindset is right. And I think that a change of scenery as well is going to help you. But what he does in the red zone alone is going to help this football team and going to offer it's going to offer a lot to the Chicago Bears offense in the red zone. We talked about St. Brown's drop. I believe Claypool's going to pull that down. That's what you're getting him. You're getting a guy. And Ivan, I talked about how you're beating the chase of free agency. You're recognizing the field. This is where Poles did a great job. He recognized who's in free agency better than Chase Claypool. Probably no one, right? So you recognize that, you got out in front of it, and you were able to identify a guy, and you have control of him. Maybe they give him a new deal now to, pacify a relationship with him, or they don't, but they still have control. And I feel like that is a huge get for the Chicago Bears.
Apparently, he might be suiting up this week against Miami. I think there's a legit chance that he gets some playing time. I don't know how much, but if he's able to go and he feels fine, like I don't see why not. Like put him out there. Let's get this thing going.
Wait, I didn't know that there was some hesitancy in him starting this week.
Well, say it again, Sheree.
I didn't know that there was some hesitancy in him starting this week.
No, well, I just because of you're getting traded, you don't know whether
you don't know the
coaches
system.
feel comfortable, right?
Okay.
Yeah, depending on what you know and how comfortable they feel with you. Like I think that he'll get if they go ahead and split time with or limit his time. I see red zone. If the Bears get into the red zone, I see Claypool being used there. But I think if he's ready to go, I'll put him in and let's see what happens.
They could even have him in there as a decoy some plays.
Right.
Absolutely.
You got the number one corner is going to go to him. You know what I mean?
You can do that, and it's going to benefit Darnell Mooney. That's the fifth thing that you're getting out of this. So you're beating free agency. You're getting a number one type receiver. Those people, you can't flip-flop. Everybody and their brother was recognizing and talking about it. They should have taken Claypool instead of Kmet. Look at him scoring all these touchdowns. Look at the big plays he was making with a real quarterback. Let's not forget that. I get that his personality is
throw
odd.
some highlights? Can we throw a little highlights from Chicago?
No, we can't. No, we can't.
Even if it's from ChicagoBears.com? No.
No.
Their hype video? Okay.
We don't even want to take a chance with that.
Because
I think people could do that on their own.
Yeah, of course.
If I had the all 22, I would put it up there. But it's been a busy week, as you could tell.
Somebody. I think on the radio today, I believe it was maybe 670 to score. So they had mentioned something really good that ball to Mooney against Washington. Claypool catches that. You know what I mean? Claypool he has a length, he has the leaping ability, big body. Claypool catches that ball, whether he gets in or not, that's to be seen. But you've seen Justin try to force it to Darnell at times because who else does he have? Yeah. Now that you got another guy in Claypool that could stretch the field too, and you could trust to throw some of these tougher passes and go up and get it for you. I see Darnell being unleashed.
Yeah. In the slot, I think he can really open up. Hopefully in the slot, you put EQ outside in the red zone on the other side, Ivan. That's a deadly combo right there for me. I'm sorry. That's money.
I would go with Harry.
I was going to say, I like
Harry too. Yeah.
Wasn't the Steelers using Claypool in the slot? And that
they were.
But he had more success on the outside. The past 2 seasons, he was on the outside. And then they, like I said, they got Deontay Johnson. They have George Pickens.
Yeah, they got young guys.
They tried to, for some reason, they tried to finagle what he did. He, in his presser, he said that he thought that added to his game. Like it was neither great, it wasn't terrible, but it added to his game. So he sees it as an opportunity for him to grow as a receiver to where he could play all three positions.
It's definitely going to help Darnell Mooney. I believe, looking and analyzing Mooney for the last several years, that this kid is a legit number two. I'd hear a lot of people say other things or whatever, but this legitimizes his ability to not have to be bracketed as much as he's been and to free up some big plays down the field for him. Say what you want about Allen Robinson and his ability and effort. What he did was alleviate Darnell, and you saw a lot of those big plays down the field with Justin throwing him open like that. So I think that's going to be something that's going to happen. And red zone to me, obviously with Harry, Claypool, Mooney, and hopefully Cole Kmet builds off this, you're getting some big, solid size. St. Brown as well. But St. Brown has to make those catches, man, in those big moments. I know it was a tougher one, that one against
Dallas.
Dallas. Got to make that catch. But
and that's something that Claypool probably even comes down with that catch.
absolutely. That's what he is. Larison was saying to me, fucking, that's where Brandon Marshall, he would just pull that down. He just didn't drop the ball. What the fuck? These are NFL receivers. So the Velus Jones drop. Oh my God. Talk about a killer. Can't drop that ball. These things aren't going to have to be worried about. I wonder how they'll probably put Isaiah Couture, if they haven't already,
They cut
back
him.
on the they did.
Yeah.
Oh no, they waived him or put him. Yeah.
He'll be back on the practice squad. I didn't hear it today.
When Pringle coming back?
Soon.
Right?
He hasn't been cleared, Eberflus said today. They were working him out. He looked good to me running with the trainer. And I thought he was going to be able to play. But he was practicing apparently today.
Yeah.
But he's not cleared to play, according to him. Nor was Whitehair, who apparently is coming back and looking a lot better too. So if you can get Whitehair back at that left guard spot, get Dieter in at center. You know how I feel about this line. They could possibly build something good here. Like, I'm not being biased towards Dieter. I'm just telling you. Just watch what he did in a couple plays. He's that strong. I mean, nobody knocked Van der Bosch back.
Van Der Esch.
Yeah. Nobody. Dieter fucking knocks his ass backwards and he's spilling back. You'll see it on the tape.
Are you concerned with Tevin? He was limited today.
His
with
ankle.
The back issue. Well, I heard it was the back issues.
Oh man.
Well, he was falling down a couple times. He fell down a couple times and he was slow to get up. Then he was sitting at the end of the game. Everybody's shaking hands. They do the prayer in some area and everyone's talking. Tevin Jenkins is sitting on the bench, just looking out at the field like this, taking it in all by himself. And I was wondering, he was there for a good 12 minutes. And then he got up and walked back to the locker room. I love Tevin. He didn't have that great of a game. It wasn't his best game.
We got to think, Phil, around the corner was the trade deadline. And there's still, I'm sure deep in his heart, and we all have come to the agreement that Tevin's our best offensive lineman. You know what I'm saying? Whatever was going on, we talked about it ad nauseum. I don't want to get into it, but maybe he felt like he was still nervous about his place with the Bears. Maybe that was part of it.
He could have been.
Because even Roquan said he didn't know about the trade until it happened. It wasn't something that he knew was coming.
I hope Tevin's all right with this, but I didn't hear back. It looked like ankle the way he was. And he got his fucking helmet tore off. There was no call on that. The Cole Kmet hold was horrible. Horrible call.
Yeah, it was bad.
And I
was on a touchdown run, right?
I forgot to tell you guys this story. That ref, he's down on the field during that time when I was there. He just happens to be walking by me. I go, "You better call it fair today." And he looks at me and he goes, "I always do." I go, "But today it needs to be." I swear to God. Ask Jim. And sure enough, that motherfucker threw the goddamn flag. I was watching the film to see which ref did it. It's him. I go, "You are
you pissed him off. It's all your fault.
Oh, yeah. It's my fault.
You pissed him off.
I thought I was going to help him. Fuck. As far as Roquan, I'm telling you the story. No one else is telling you this. I'm telling you this. If you're a TTNL head, I'm speaking to Roquan on the sideline. I'm just offering up a question like, how do you like Will before I can finish linebacker? He just goes, I'm a Mike.
Yeah.
That's all I needed to know. I was like, oh, okay. Mike linebacker. You
Yeah.
prefer the Mike? And then we're taking a picture. And I don't want to bother him, but he offered that shit up. And that's what he wants to be. I guess his feeling in this defense, he wasn't comfortable. So if you're an off the ball linebacker, you feel that high and you're leading the league in tackles, which that stuff is misleading, because if you're leading the team in tackles and you're tackling 8 yards down the field, it counts as a tackle. PFF gives you a tackle. I give you a bad grade because you should have filled the gap, pressed the defense or the offensive tackle back, and your other teammate should have fucking made the tackle. So tackle stats could be very misleading when it comes to the game of football. For fucking other shows and shit, they're great. He's leading the league in tackles. Well, let's look at these tackles.
Yeah.
Let's look at these tackles. But that being said, he also was a headache to this front office. They tried to get a deal done. Poles told you. We worked hard. We thought we were there. And then they couldn't get it done. So, in my opinion, looking at the Chicago Bears on tape all this time and then watching the game, their biggest need is obviously center, tackle, and wide receiver. I can get you a linebacker. I'm going to find you a line. I thought the kid 44 that came over from Indy was your best performing linebacker on tape. And he got hurt. Now he's on injured. What is his name? Banks? What was his name? Number 44. Anyway, I thought he was your best linebacker on tape. He's always filling his gap, always in the right place, hitting. You know, he made a couple errors, but it's not Adams.
Matt Adams, yeah.
Matt Adams, Gustavo. Thank you, Willow. Mi hombre. Is that right? Is that brother?
Oh,
Hombre.
Yes, Logan. We will see Jack Sanborn.
Jack Sanborn was out there. I did meet Jack. He was nice. I told him, I got a fan in the Philippines that loves you. And he's like, fuck that fucking guy. I know about him. He fucking said The Office in the UK is funnier than this one. He's like, fuck that dude. I go, right?
Claudio Jackal's show with Ivan joke is old.
Yeah.
So
I saw that last night.
Oh,
someone needs to write better jokes for Logan.
Logan, we love you, Logan.
Where's Jack Baller?
Where's Jack?
Hermano. Hombre. What does hombre mean? I thought it was brother too.
Oh.
Jesus.
Trying to find these questions in these stars, but Ivan with the stars like fucking Mario from Mario Brothers.
That'd be Ivan every
Ivan stars.
Hey, you gotta go ahead and mark the good questions, man.
Oh.
But they're not questions.
Some of them are good comments, all right.
Lowry's got to play better. Lowry's got to play better. What I would do with the linebackers is move Lowry to Will, bring Sanborn in at Mike, see if he could play it, or if AJ Klein. Hombre means man. Thank you, Carlos. Spanish class as well as football. My wife can speak Spanish. Weatherford, I want to see him. If I had to choose between those three, I would choose Sanborn. I would choose Sanborn right now.
So you want Sanborn at the mic, you said?
I would play him at the mic right now because I want to see what I have at the mic with him.
It's interesting.
So who would your 3 be?
You have to leave Morrow there, I thought. Though.
I would put Morrow at. I meant Morrow, not Lowry.
Okay.
I know he said Lowry. AJ Klein would based on his veteran stuff. I haven't seen AJ Klein's play right now. Is it declining? No. I had to throw that out there. So, but AJ Klein obviously would be in the mix. Is he ready to play this weekend at Mike? I don't know. But I would want to see. Morrow would go to Will. He struggled too much at Mike. I'll show you on Patreon. Getting into his drops. I think he could be free and use his speed. And then I would get Sanborn to Mike, and then either Thomas, Weatherford, or Klein at the Sam. If AJ Klein is ready, then yeah, AJ Klein, I loved him coming out of Iowa State. He's a veteran. He's instinctive. Again, I want to see what he has on the table, but what I already have that have been in camp, Sanborn has instincts and toughness. He reads his keys and gets there. There's a great play where Dak does read option. Dak takes it. Sanborn sees it, goes away from his read because he recognizes it through the guard and gets over to Dak Prescott and actually tries to punch the ball out from the backside. He missed it, but it was I was like, wow, that's like a veteran play from a young linebacker. He was able to get there. I met him. I thought he was going to be bigger than he was. He's not small or anything, but I thought he was going to be bigger. So he's interesting. Yeah. Bayless is a gadget guy right now. He's a kick returner, and bring him in and you can't drop that football in the NFL. You just can't. You
I still
can't
don't trust the way he carries the football.
Yeah. A lot of people saying that we should use him like we used Patterson back in the day. Same kind of guy, just throwing back a running back.
Jet sweep.
Yeah.
That's it. Toss it to him here. Jet sweep there. Bubble screen.
I mean, they say he's fast. He doesn't look that fast when he's.
Oh yeah, he's fast.
He looked fast when he ran that jet.
When he came on that jet,
when he did some
he looked real fast.
He wasn't looking.
When he punt, he has no confidence in his hands, so he's slowing down. Same with his kick return. He just got to hit it.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it. He runs slow, to your point, Claude. He looks slow because he's not confident.
Yeah.
But he's fast. Let me tell you, that run that he does on a jet sweep, there's two of them. The other one, he's going to get tackled, and he just bullies these defenders and runs through them after he dropped the ball. So it's the very next series. You see him get the ball on a jet sweep, and he's like running how he should play.
Yeah.
Maybe he's embarrassed of that, but he's no Tariq Cohen, Daryl. He's more physical than Cohen. So we'll see what they do. I'm just telling you what I would do with those linebackers. I just think this kid's been in your system since training camp, and he seems to be very aggressive. Sanborn. You're putting him out there earlier. You're taking Kendall Vildor off and putting him in as the Sam linebacker, and he's filling gaps. That's what I would do. Do I feel a loss, a heaviness that Roquan? I don't. I said the Bears need a big-time receiver. That would have been the number one thing that I felt like you needed to do in free agency to help Justin Fields. You jumped ahead of free agency. If you're looking at the draft, second-round pick, I'm taking Claypool over anybody in the second round that was picked. So you did a good thing. Now, hopefully, to Cherie's point, he'll be ready to play. He'll be ready to play when they go to play the Dolphins. You can get him in the huddle and say, hey, listen, fade, slant. You can get it. As far as reading coverages and concepts, I don't know how proficient he is. He is an NFL player. So now you got to change and decipher the terminology, just like hermano and hombre, just like that in football. Now, how do we call this play? Bubble beaver, whatever they use, their terminology, all that stuff. Marge, counter Marge,
Frog and cricket.
Yep.
She was on me like a frog on a cricket. Like a frog on a cricket. I can't even breathe, Phil. Like a frog on a. I need a frog on a cricket T-shirt. God, I would love that. Don would get some of the royalties for that. When I said, I just thought of it and just was laughing as we're getting close to Hallis Hall on the plane. The police escort. It's raining in Chicago, and I'm sitting way in the back this time. I sat back because I was like, I don't want to sit up. Like, let's go way back. Like a frog on a cricket. Oh my God. Anyway, I think that we cover it all. Let's do one segment quick, and then we'll go to shout outs. It'll be.
So let's get the auction underway.
Oh, that ain't it. That ain't
Gary!
it. That ain't it.
Smoke weed.
That ain't. Where is it?
Gary, where are you?
Gary. Where are you? Gary didn't like me swearing. It's like, all this swearing, it's getting me nervous. He's a very nice dick that any woman would love. Hey, cut it out. Oh no, that's not ready this
What
week.
are you?
Nope. Nope. I was trying to
looking
find
for
that.
bold predictions.
Yeah, no, I was looking for.
If I'm going to root for a team, I want to give it all I
Next
got.
play. Pass. 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 Pass.
There was no
You
rhyme or
just
reason.
drove down the field. Mr. Montgomery breaks a huge run. If he scores on the run, you don't got to worry. But you do got to worry because he gets tackled at the freaking 15.
There was no rhyme or
Next play. Shotgun.
The tape never lies.
There it is. The tape never lies. Tate says in that song.
Oh, that's Tate.
That's Tate's voice there. The tape never lies. And then he goes, it never does. He did that on his own. And I was like, oh, that I gotta keep that. Bold predictions. Ivan Vargas bold predicted Jim Larison's house size. He was like, how cool was the wine cellar?
Oh, awesome. Just sort of like it was like this mafioso type, like they had a table. You could just it was beautiful wine cellar.
I have a picture of all of us in the wine cellar, and there's another picture of Ivan just looking down because his wine cellar looks exactly as a mafia cigar poker table right there with all the cigar smoke, and then around the corners is all this wine, and then it goes down like a tunnel, right? All the way down about what, 12 yards, 15?
Yeah, something like that, about that.
It's fucking crazy. Anyway, more nuggets on the show. Cherie, we always start with you.
I don't give a fuck that he smokes weed. They all smoke weed.
Smoke weed every day.
They all were. Let me tell. No, they weren't. Cherie, bold prediction for Bears Dolphins.
My bold prediction is that I'm picking the Bears to win. No, that's not my bold prediction, but I do think the Bears can pull this one out. Score is going to be Bears 20-16. Miami.
20 to 16?
Miami 16, yes. So Bears pull it out. God, that's going to get close.
Pull it out.
I'm gonna leave you alone.
Pull it out. Bill got the rock hard.
I'm leaving her alone.
Bold prediction is Fields rushes No, I'm gonna give him some passing stats. Field passes for 240.
240 yards passing. I thought you were saying Phil passes, right?
That's what it sounded like to me too.
Fields.
Phil's out there.
Phil's gonna
Yeah.
complain.
Don Fields' cousin.
Don Fields. I'm Don Fields, your cousin.
You can throw a pigskin over a mountain.
Okay.
Oh
man.
Okay. Throws for 240 yards and a touchdown, you said?
Yeah.
There you
Well,
go.
no, 2 touchdowns. That's
Two.
yeah.
2 touchdowns. Claudio the
Yes.
Barber.
Okay, well,
I like
let's
this
see.
new view here. This is
You
cool.
like this view?
Yeah.
Let's see. So, Kaplan, bro, you're gonna have to take
Kaplan bet is still.
The bet is still there. This is it. Comes down to the fucking
Speak
wire.
it into existence, Claudio.
So
speak it into existence.
we will win this game. I think it'll be a little
Oh,
higher. Yes, I think it'll be a little higher scoring than we would like because our defense is not great against the run right now, and Tyreek Hill and Waddle are pretty good. But I think our offense is just gonna keep getting better, and our defense will do enough. So I say the Bears win 30-24.
30-24.
30-24. And bold prediction is Montgomery goes off, not Herbert.
Yo.
Yes. Montgomery goes
off.
The bold prediction.
So I'll say total 150 yards rushing and receiving and 2 touchdowns. How's that? Is that bold enough?
That is.
Okay.
I like it. Ivan Vargas. There
Yeah,
he
I'm
is.
gonna go with the Bears winning this. I think it's gonna be high scoring. I'm gonna go 33-30. And I'm gonna say bold prediction: Cairo Santos kicks a last-second field goal to win the game.
33-30. Cairo Santos.
We just shout out Santos for being clutch as fuck every single game.
I took a picture of in
He's
Hallis
gonna be my
Hall.
bear up.
They have his jersey right in the front lobby, and it has the record 40 consecutive field goals made.
Yeah. Awesome.
Pretty dope. I gotta get that picture. Well,
This makes mine even worse that you say that.
here we go. Ivan Vargas has, what was his final? 33-30?
33-30. Cairo Santos with the game winner.
That's your bold. Okay. Now,
My
Alan
turn.
Bratcher.
I've got Miami winning this game. They're going to start out fast, just like everyone else has against our Bears, it seems. 30-27 Bears come back, but at the end of the game, Cairo misses a field goal for
Oh.
Damn.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Cairo misses the field goal. So he
No,
goes the
leave that
opposite
leave
way
the
of
Waddle
Ivan.
insane.
Yeah. That was actually my plan the whole time, too. That's not last second. That's what I was going to say.
All right.
Now,
I'm
you
going.
know if Cairo miss it,
I can't come back on the
you,
show.
Robert McGraw.
Rigo kicked me off forever.
36-30 Bears. Bold prediction. Cap buys us all McDoubles.
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 Cap,
Big Macs. We don't even get
McDonald's.
Big Macs. We get Big Doubles.
Right?
Cap did treat for lunch for me and Jim. How about
Nice.
that?
Nice.
What does he say? Take that.
Take that.
Take that. Right, Cap? Cap is great.
Yeah.
Great dude. I'm gonna predict the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. I like this shorter box.
It's like you're coming out of the curtain.
25-20 Dolphins victory. Now 28-20. Let me give them 4
25.
tutties.
That's a tough one.
28-20, I know. 25 was tough. 28-20. The reason is every time I pick the Bears to win, they lose. So I picked them to get spanked.
That's what I'm doing.
By the Patriots.
Yeah.
So
same thing, Phil.
Maybe this will help us out. But listen, I got to see what this defense is. Don't know what Claypool's going to bring, but I do. Claudio took my bold prediction. But I'm going to double up with him. I believe David Montgomery is going to light it up on Sunday. I know how upset he was. He's fumbled the ball twice in his career.
Yeah.
It bothers him. I'm like, you didn't let anybody down. It happens. Walter Payton fumbled. End of story. We'll see what happens. In all honesty, Justin has, and he will, learn to tag it down. We're going to have some news on the tailgate. I got to talk to Shane tomorrow. We'll probably pop up live for that news, but we have a plan. But we're also, if you're a patron, we're going to have a special invitation Friday night celebration at Jim Larison's house. So all TTNL patrons, Red Robin, that's what it was. I'm
Plan B.
Plan B.
He said Plan B. Red Robin Burgers. It's not even close, Phil.
You're fine.
Thank you, Jim. Red Robin.
Oh, that's great. Who played that? That was
Ellen.
Nice.
Ellen's got the
Finally got a good drop.
I've had him. I'm just afraid to play him with Shane.
Yeah.
No. Just play him. You're good.
Yeah. There it is. Red Robin.
Yum.
Yeah. Plan B.
I
Red
know we
Robin.
get our free burgers this month from Red Robin.
That's right.
There you go.
I'll be going to the Applebee's as well.
So I got a whole list. I go to the website. I map out a whole day of free food on Veterans Day.
Claudio
Well
and
earned,
Jackal
though.
might
Well
be
earned.
going to the
Well
Jets
earned.
game.
Yeah, Phil, you're not going to come, Phil. Come on,
man.
Say that again?
I have
Jets
never
game.
traveled so much.
I'll drive. Don't worry. You just have to sit.
The Jets game?
We'll see. When is the Jets
It's
game?
the 27th. It's the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
I'm
1
gonna be
o'clock
in
game. My birthday.
Chicago for
1 o'clock
Detroit.
game.
I don't know if I could pull all this off, man. I got a
I
family.
may hit y'all up if I decide to make that trip because New York is nowhere.
Yeah, me and Jackal were definitely going.
Okay.
So that's for sure. But we'll try to get Phil.
He's going to get out of
Everybody-
soccer for that game?
No more soccer. He's
No
going to be
more
back on the
soccer.
show.
I thought he was like commissioner of the league, so I thought he'd have to go another 17 weeks or something.
Friday night TTNL meat party dinner catered by the Chicago Bears. No, catered by the Larisons. We're gonna have you all out there, so it should be fun. Bullets, you'll have to fly into town a day earlier. Stop bitching. Get over
be an
here.
ass. Get
Make shit happen. Stop taking the Logan route. Will Mookie Hill, Cherie, will be at the Jets game. I don't know if that moves the meter.
No.
Oh my god.
Look at this. Breaking news, Bullets.
Oh, oh shoot, I already promised my cousin I was coming to his house.
Nope. You're going to the game, Cherie, with Jim Larison to
Oh, my
experience.
cousin is gonna kill me because I've never seen his house.
Come on.
His house will still be there.
His
And that
house
makes me
never
the Dolphins
moves.
game
I'll tell
will
you
only
that.
happen once.
Oh my God.
kinda wanna go
Cherie
too.
and Larison, Vegas bombs and all? Gotta happen.
Vegas bombs.
If you want to go, hit me up. I'll get you over to Jim. Look at him putting it live on the air. I have a couple extra tickets. Cherie gets
I'm driving
first
up
dibs.
Saturday, so yeah,
There
I
you
will
go.
be in town Sunday.
Bullets is making excuses via text right now. I can't. My wife's working Friday. Nope. Gotta get up. No, we'll get. There's another party planned Saturday night as well that maybe we can invite Bullets to, since he won't be able to be there Friday. Private party. VIP. Meet and greet. I love Cherie's mom.
As long as Cherie's happy, I'm happy.
Cherie's going to be happy at the game with Larison. I'll tell you that. That's going to be experience.
Will, I am your fan.
Number one fan. I'm Cherie's biggest fan.
Jeepers creepers.
So,
Well, you know,
man, I fucked up, but
Yes,
I
you
just like
did,
that.
Plum.
Will, you my buddy.
Listen, it was a great show. It's come to that point of the show. We hit the midnight mark. That's 3 hours and 30 minutes of Bears fun, keeping it 100 talk. If you're not a patron, subscribe, become one. Kramer's QB School and X's with the O's are going to combine forces on Saturday morning. And we're going to be breaking down Cowboys, Bears. My dad, Coach O, and former Bears quarterback Eric Kramer will be live right then and there Saturday.
Hey, there you go. Yep, I like it.
I know Zorich likes it. Everybody should like it. Sign up, become a patron for the in-depth video breakdowns you've all grown to love. Let's get to this.
Shout out Tape Never Lies. Shout out. I know you hear me, baby. Shout out. I know you see me, baby. Shout out. We gotta holla at you. Keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too. Shout out. I know you hear me, baby. Shout out. I know you see me, baby. Shout out. We gotta holla at you. Keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too. From the fans in the stands to the follows on the gram. Thanks for your support, showing love in the DM. We stay Spencer strong, fight together till the end. Now it's time to shout out worldwide friends and fam. Like
The network that keeps it real, 100 crew. So many in the world that I gotta show love to. For some this part, see the show is at its end. But for me it's so important to thank the charter members and the fans. Built the network, speak the truth through the tape. Never run around the truth, no narratives we create. Set them straight, no bubble screen on 4th and 8. Audio Jane getting nervous cause keeping them up too late. That's it, no more to say to get the shot of vital. But hurry up cause the postman's getting homicidal.
shout
Spencer
out.
strong.
I know you hear me, baby. Shout out. I know you see me, baby. Shout out. We gotta holla at you. Keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too. Shout out. I know you hear me, baby. Shout out. I know you see me, baby. Shout out. We gotta holla at you. Keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too.
The network that keeps it real. Spencer strong.
As long as Cherie's happy, I'm happy.
Yep, Cherie is happy. Gotta be happy about a possibility going to the Miami game, Cherie, with Jim Larison.
I text my cousin like, change of plans. Love you.
Cherie, you have any shout outs?
Of course I do. First and foremost,
Jim.
He's also one. First and foremost, so definitely Shane. Sending all my love to him and prayers for him and his family. And also Jim, not only for possibly going to the game with you Sunday, but just for even allowing Phil to have that experience and him sharing that experience with us. It was exciting, even though I wasn't personally there. Seeing the pictures and all the updates was just as exciting as if I was there experiencing. So much love to Jim for bringing Phil in for that experience and us all being able to live that experience through Phil. So really appreciate that, and of course appreciate all of you guys that let me talk crazy and hang out with y'all on Wednesday night. So much love to all of y'all.
Is Phil frozen?
I think he is. Yeah.
That's
it.
Go to Alan. You go ahead.
Okay. Well, Cherie, you said it perfectly. I really can't. I'm just going to piggyback off of that, Cherie. Well said by you. Thank you, Jim Larison, first of all, man. I cannot wait to meet you in person. You seem like a great guy. Vegas bombs all around, man. And I got to give a special shout out to my guy, Cars. Here's why.
Alan Bratcher was on the Khalil Herbert being the
was.
guy from the beginning. So I do have to give him some credit.
Someone on this network actually gave me credit for something. Shout out to me. So, Cars, shout out to you, buddy, for bringing up the number 7th rushing running back in the league right now. Just thought I'd throw that in since Phil's gone. It's my only time I'm shining. Thank you.
Alan shouts out himself.
Yes.
Anyway,
Did you
Claudio the Barber.
he wants you to send him a Venmo, though. You got to send him the Venmo for that. That's
what is it, like 6 cents, right?
That was the deal.
Is that what it was? 7 cents.
Oh shit. Yeah, so I'll go. I did obviously, Shane, prayers up to all you guys, your family. Hope everything's good. Jim Larison, same thing. Having Phil go there and bringing him was amazing. And all the story time with Phil is a thing now. It's a thing now. Story time with Phil. But shout out to a few guys in the chat. Keys Guy, Wesley Butler, and Daryl Daniels. Just a couple guys that I saw making some good comments. But obviously everybody in the chat. Shout out to all you guys. Are always awesome, keeping us on our toes. And shout out to my daughter, Adriana. She's doing good, but she had a little issue and was in the hospital. So, not hospital, emergency room, but she's doing better now. So prayers up to her and everything. And she started a new job and all that too. So everything's
on the new job.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I'm just gonna go ahead and shout out Shane. What he's gone through, I'm not going to put his business out there. We're just going to say it's a family emergency, but my prayers and my thoughts are just with Shane, just what he does for the network, his time commitment, going back to work, being a father. And, I wish nothing but the best for Shane. I hope everything is going good with him and his family right now tonight. Love him, miss him. Hope he's doing the best, so keep praying for him. And you guys, shout out to you guys for being here. And every week is like, man, I'm so excited for Wednesday. I mean, Tuesday, of course, with my guy Claudio. I keep it fantasy.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Tuesday with my guy Claudio
is always fun.
But here Wednesday we get everybody together, and it's so awesome to have you guys. And I just couldn't imagine not being on this network and not sharing and talking and talking ball and cracking jokes and everything with you guys. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to Shane. Yeah, it's been a great show. I don't know how DDP wants me to go ahead and wrap things up here. I don't know if he's gonna pop in, but I guess we could.
Want to do? You know what? Let's just do
what
the
TTNL means to you.
The newest one, volume 11. So
yeah.
We'll end with the shout outs. What TTNL means from the patrons. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Tape Never Lies Network. Make sure you go to our website, www.thetapeneverlies.com. Become a patron. It's worth it. It's worth it. You get the best breakdowns in the world. You get the best characters, the best personalities, and it's not that expensive. It's not that. It's a cup of coffee a week. You know what I mean? That's pretty much it. So with that, we're gonna end the show. Here it is. What TTNL means to me.
I uncovered the magic of the Chicago Bears when I was about 7 years old. I uncovered the magic of TTNL nearly 50 years later when I saw this guy, Draft Dr. Phil, dissecting footage of Bear games to give fans the exact details of what goes right and what goes wrong. There's a lot of other NFL fan shows on YouTube, but there was nobody doing what Phil was doing. Within a year or two, TTNL was born. I've been here ever since. I probably skew a bit older than the typical TTNL fan, but that's because to me, watching the Bears still creates the same youthful exuberance I had when I was 7. That exuberance and passion is what TTNL brings to their analysis, along with the facts, good or bad, lifted from the tape. The tape never lies, true Bear fans never die. TTNL for life.
I discovered TTNL like a lot of people did. I just saw some of Phil's breakdowns of tape, and I thought it was a really cool way for people to investigate football on a deeper level who don't normally have the opportunity to do that because they're not in the game or part of the game anymore. Then I started watching some of the network's actual content, and I began to understand the type of character that these guys had, that it was in fact a lot more than just football. I grew up a Bears fan my entire life. For as long as I could possibly remember. I'd been out in Colorado for over 10 years now, and how much I'd missed having a football community, especially a Chicago Bears community. TTNL is family, and that real recognizes real. And that's when I really knew and discovered that this is a lot more than football. It always was. It really is family, and having that family around you and knowing that you have a support system, even if they're thousands of miles away, is like beyond indescribable. And then to have found that community just through a YouTube channel, it says something really special about the network and the people that run it. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being a part of my life, because my life would not be the same without TTNL and everyone that's a part of it.
Have a nice day. Be sure and tell them Large Marge sent ya.